Okay, folks, we are back. Sorry, technical difficulties here. Don't know why it popped up, but I do appreciate everyone hanging in there with me. Sometimes this stuff does happen, and the beauty of a live stream show. So, you just got to roll with the punches, just kind of find your way through it a little bit here to the other side of it as you try to get this figured out a little bit. But thank you to everybody for hanging in with me there as we were trying to get through on that. And I'm just getting the stream right back and set up here so that we're all clear and good to go. Hopefully this pops up okay for people and we don't freeze up again, because that was lame. And again, I got to make sure I get this troubleshooted before we get to Saturday, because I'm gonna be an angry elf. We get to Saturday and my live stream freezes on me. Have like 700 people in here, and all of a sudden it goes. That would not be good. That would not be good at all. Hopefully it wasn't my deal that I was running there with the deal, but we'll see here. We should be good though now. So thank you to everybody hopping back in and bearing with me on that. And I'm very, very sorry about that. So let's bounce back through here a little bit and backtrack a little bit here. Backtrack just a little bit here. Hopefully I'm coming in clear and not too messed up now at this point. That's what did it. Yeah, that's what did it. It's the thing I was trying to bring up. My little, wow, Streamlabs. That's not bonus then. Okay, well, I see what happened. It was my stupid little, yeah, stat. It was I was trying to show you guys below my points as I was going through them, and Streamlabs does not like that. So, okay, understood. Won't do those again. I got to find a way to not do those, because those seem to kind of break it, I guess, on how that's going. One thing I can do, though, is this. Got the grades going here for the Niners game for you folks on that. And I did want to get on my last couple points that we did have there. I got to point 8, which was that we should run the trick plays there on my points on how we could win this game. My last point was maybe kind of the biggest point of this all, and it encompasses all of the things that the other points are sort of built into. Because there is a little bit of an aggressiveness to my strategy of what I'd like to see the Seahawks do here. And that's, I hope, that Coach Carroll just lets it rip. Don't come into this game feeling like, you've got to hold back, or that we got to be careful of things. And again, it's because of the same reason that everybody is trouncing on us and saying that we have no opportunity to win this game should be every bit the reason that pushes us forward towards being hyper aggressive in our approach, and to go outside the box and to do things that maybe we haven't even done this year, and to do kind of where you throw everything at the wall a little bit. This is kind of what I'm not usually a fan of, that method of approach, but when you come to this point of the year, when you're to the final game, when you're going up against a team that from a talent standpoint and how they're playing and a momentum standpoint certainly has you kind of edged out in a lot of different areas, I think that's the point in time when you've got to let it lay loose, let it go. When Coach Carroll came in here, when we got that 7-9 season, and we went and we played the Saints in the playoffs, and many people remember of course, the beast mode run, and Marshawn Lynch's game was a fantastic game throughout in that game too. Of course, he ran well aside from that brilliant run. But the thing that I was talking to Brandon about this yesterday on the B&B show, the thing that people kind of forget about that game is Matt Hasselbeck might have had one of his best games throwing the football in his career as a Hawk. Kind of interesting if you go back and look at his stats and numbers out of that game. And he definitely played out of his mind. He played like a guy who was aware that this might be the last time I have a Seahawks jersey on. But then there was also within that this willingness in that game to throw. I think they threw felt like 5-6 bubble screens in the game. And throughout the year, they had not leaned on the bubble screen game at all. It had not been a part of what they had done. But it was a little bit of an acknowledgement in this one going up against the Saints, as Carroll was in this one, to go, okay, I'm going against this powerhouse offense coming off their Super Bowl title. They got more talent than us. They're better position for position than us if we go across the board. How do I get my advantages? How do I work those little advantages to where I can? And to me, the place you can work it is the place the Niners can't. The Niners just got to come in here like, well, just trust our talent, play our game, We get to come in there and say, let it all out, lay it all on the line. Try it all out. Throw it out there. That's why I say trick plays. That's why I say stack the box. That's why I say don't worry about the deep play over the top. Because there's no reason to be as worried about those type of items when it's not as much of a threat with Purdy. And again, if it does hit you that way, which you've not hit by that throughout the whole course of the year up until this point, that's not been a way that's nailed you. If that's been the case, then don't be worried about it. Lean into it. Go with it. And I hope Carroll does here in this one. I have a feeling he probably will. There's nothing that can happen to where you decide as a coach to make some wild decisions and then find all these people calling for your head then after this game. There will be nobody doing that, right? Maybe there'll be some people with some shaken confidence, but those people lie where they lie on Carroll, and this game's not really going to determine it one way or the other. But that's why I say, you got nothing to lose. You got nothing that's going to change your status and where you are as a coach. Everyone will look at this year as still a very successful year, and that everything is shot and ready to go forward onto you becoming that elite-like team that San Francisco currently is. So let it go. Let it rip. That's part of what's happened this year in their approach, isn't it? I mean, you had a point in time this year for a lot of this year where you were throwing 55% of the time. There was no Coach Carroll teams that were ever throwing 55% of the time over his time here in Seattle. In your greatest throwing years, you were maybe at 51%. And that 4% is a big difference over the course of a season. That's a lot more attempts. And it was an acknowledgement on Carroll's part of, I gotta adopt the new here offensively. Maybe in this game, you gotta adopt to the fact that, look, we don't have necessarily the same talent they do on that side. We're not necessarily playing at the same level they're playing at. Let's roll with these punches. Let's go with it. Let's acknowledge that and then operate around that. And that's the way where I see with these 9 keys to victory, these 9 keys as they are: stack the box, stop the run, make Brock Purdy beat you with his arm, remain balanced offensively, even if it's painful, win the turnover battle, keep the time of possession at least near equal. The special teams needs to be special. It's trick play time. And Coach Carroll, let loose. Give me that big balls, brass balls of Coach Carroll from circa 2012. We're going to need that one for this one, okay? The guy that lets it on line. I'm not calling for all fourth down, you go for it on. I'm not talking about trick plays all over the place. I'm talking about working all of this stuff through the game plan. And to me, that is definitely a pathway to success in this football game. Let's see what you guys think, though. I'd love to see where the mood is of my fellow Hawk fans here as we go through the midweek point of things. I appreciate you guys hanging in with me on those technical difficulties, and I am very sorry for them. We will try to, I think I've got it actually figured out where the problem lied on it, so I will probably just have to avoid those little deals in the future when I do them, when I run them, because that one threw it off for some reason. But if you do like what you're listening to, please hit that like button for me. I would really appreciate it. A small little thing, but a big thing. Helps me out in a major way. Tommy Eden, what's up? Tactical Brownie, Gemini Glass, Sean Lee, Eduardo Bueno, hello. Tactical Brownie says, where's the cat? Oh, I gotta get her over here. Yeah, you're right. Hold on, let's get her over here. There we go. Eduardo, your wish is my command. Magic Vlogs, he's alive. I am alive. You thought I was frozen in time, didn't you guys? You thought I was like Han Solo there. Star Wars 2. I love you. I know. Such a good movie. Eduardo from Brazil. Thank you, Eduardo. And Megan, thank you for that donation again. Sorry, it froze up as soon as your guys' donations came through there, but I do appreciate those on those. So want to get the video back if I could. TGC says, what unit combo do you think we rock this week? No way we rock the same thing we wore in week 2. Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. And certainly the Wolf Grays at home didn't exactly do us a lot of favor. No, wait. Didn't we did the action. Didn't we do action green? I'm Wolf Gray. I'm going Wolf Gray all the way. I'd like to see the 1980s one. Like that would just, the Miners would spend the whole game blown away by the beauty of those jerseys that they wouldn't even run. They'd just be like, that's what I really want. Matthew Galandes, what's up, man? Pete Carroll's cap drip. Hopefully Pete Carroll brings the cap back. Hey, cap is 1-0, man. It's the 1-0 cap. Jose Rodriguez, Seahawks, Jose Rodriguez. What's up, my one of my mods in the chat? Longtime mods. And folks, do please get over to Seahawks, Jose Rodriguez's channel and sub up. He's out there doing some hard work, grinding. Volcano Joe, cheers. Cheers to you, Volcano Joe. Brian Myers, hello. Volcano Joe says, I'm sorry, but we always beat the 49ers when we're not supposed to. That's what I'm saying, man. This is a year of not supposed to. This is a year of everything going the opposite direction. This is the season of the left-handers, right? So let's just lean back on into it. Telling you, I'm getting echoes to that Saints game. They were telling 7-9 Hawks shouldn't even be in the playoffs. Haven't even earned this thing, right? That's what they were telling us back then, right? Oh, the Saints will blow them off the football field. That's exactly what they said. How'd that game go? How'd we do on that one? Volcano Joe says, remember when the 49ers went to the Super Bowl and we lost everyone that season? We beat the Niners twice that season. I do remember that, yes. Oh, things happen, man. I'm frozen there. Don't tell me I'm frozen again. Okay. Yeah, just hit refresh on your screen if it is frozen. Dear God, no. No! Kevin Lownice with a $5 donation. Thank you, Kevin. I really appreciate it. Says, I agree. We are truly playing with house money. Go Hawks. That's what it is, man. That's why I say let loose. You're not always in the point. I mean, it's a season of like, fans don't often get to be here. Teams don't often get to be here. And what I mean by that, of course, is you get to be a playoff team and you have a top 5 pick, which is wonderful, which is beautiful. So you don't often get to be in that position. First off, it's been that year of that anyway. Now we also get to be a playoff team who has those draft picks on the horizon, who has all that money to spend on the horizon, and you get to go in a playoff team where everybody in the world is telling you, you ain't nothing. You ain't got no shot. You don't even deserve to be there. You do anything, we'll be shocked. You put a touchdown on the board, we'll be shocked. Well, then what do I got to lose? What do I got to lose then? And you know what they say? They say that about a man usually. They say this saying applies to a man, you know? But I think you could say this also applies to an NFL football team, especially an NFL football team that happens to find itself in the playoffs. Fear the man. Fear the team that has nothing to lose. Niners have everything to lose. They lose, and we're going to do about the quarterback. We're going to deal with the salary cap situation. Is Shanahan the right coach? Is this the right general manager? Have we topped out? Oh, I can hear the freak out coming. So beware. Beware, Niner fans. Beware, San Francisco, of the team that has nothing to lose. It's already a successful year no matter what they do. I'd be a little more worried with them. They're counting their chickens already. I ain't seen them hatched yet. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate you, man. And we are playing with house money, baby. Greg, Charles Woodson and Micah Parsons think Tariq Woolen should win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Both have the award. Interesting. It seems like Defensive Rookie is the year. No, Defensive Rookie is of the Year. Yeah, I think in my opinion, he should too. I think actually to me, Aiden Hutchinson has overtaken Sauce Gardner as the number 2 guy and maybe ends up winning it himself. And look, you know, Hutchinson, I think the thing I'd have with Hutchinson, I say there's some questions with him in stopping the run. He's become a pretty good pass rusher for them. And then he's got the 3 interceptions. That kind of production is pretty impressive. And I think he's played basically every game for them this year. So I wouldn't want to undertake, him either as far as to undercut him and say he wouldn't be worthy of it either. But I think Tariq doing what he's done this year, I posted a stat to my Twitter today that I thought if you get a chance, check out my Twitter on it. I'll just read it for you guys here now. But essentially it was that, Tariq this year ties for the league lead in interceptions with a couple of guys, but then he had the lowest passer rating when targeted as a corner. I mean, are those not 2 of the 3, they got Triple Crown in baseball. Is that not 2 of the 3 Triple Crown stats that you would want as a cornerback in the NFL? Maybe being passes, defense is the 3rd one. I mean, does that not in itself tell you in that stat right there alone? Wait, our rookie corner, tied for the league lead in interceptions, and he allowed the lowest passer rating when targeted in the entire NFL. As I've said, I not only think with Tariq Woolen that he is a defensive rookie of the year from my standpoint, Grug, I think he's a 2nd team All-Pro. I think there's a couple guys cornerback wise that probably deserve to be over the top of him on 1st team, certainly. Darius Slade being one of those guys. But 2nd team, I think he's got a true place to say, hey, I deserve to be at that 2nd place spot. Volcano Joe says, well, I'm $600 in a bet Six 49er fans, $100 a piece that we're going to beat their ass this Saturday. So let's go Seahawks. May the power and spirit of Cortez Kennedy protect me. Well, all you got to do is wear the jersey on that one, Volcano Joe, and you'll be okay. But that's some aggressive bets, man. You went hard, and I like that. You went hard. Oh, goodness. Well, you're going to have a hell of a return. You better be getting you better be getting some odds on that, man. You better be getting 3-1 on that if you get a return there. They better not have just gone even over the top with you on that one. Elena McCollum, thank you. Hey, Elena, good to see you in the chat. Says, we couldn't even stop Cam Akers. How are we stopping McCaffrey and Debo? Oh, you did a pretty good job of stopping McCaffrey last time, Elena, when he was in the backfield for them when they came into here, right? The defense really only gave up the big run when the other guy came in, the backup who, by that point, the defense was getting a little bit probably gassed. With some of the offensive kind of ineptitude in that game. Look, the dealing, McCaffrey and Debo are definitely going to be the big part of, how we stop these two guys. And Brandon Ayuk isn't chopped liver out there either as a receiver, and certainly then you got George Kittle. The Niners have a ton of offensive weapons to go after and attack. There is only one football, right? And in a game like this, I'll say, Elena, that I think is going to be a low-scoring game that is going to probably be both teams trying to keep the time of possession kind of evened up there a little bit. I don't know if there's going to be as many, especially with the Niners leaning into the running game as many targets for all those guys. Let's also remember, Debo is still coming back from that knee injury. I'd be remiss to believe that he's actually 100% at this point coming into this game. And they may try to, with him being not necessarily at that 100% point, work him in, but not use him at peak Debo Samuel type touches. So it's an honest worry and concern. And I would offer Elena, not just Cam Akers. We've had a problem with stopping running backs like Donta Foreman and Leonard Fournette this year. It has been a problem throughout the year. It's part of why I do say, Elena, that I would like to see the team stack the box, bring extra defenders up there in order to, maybe make that a little bit easier as far as stopping the run, rather than trying to stay to a true 7-man box and drop your two safeties back and just be worried about sort of the deep shots that could get hit. Matthew says the O-line's getting better, though. I'm optimistic. I like optimism. Daniel says, will you do a show post-game sometime next week with the Niners guest you've had on before? I'm actually going to be doing I'm going on to his channel, Daniel, tomorrow. So we won't be doing a super long show here today. We'll be on for a little bit, but I got 2 shows tomorrow. So I'm going to be going on to the Last Second Sports show at, I think 6 o'clock. Pacific Standard Time. I'll be on Last Second Sports. And then at 8 o'clock, I'm going to be over on Seahawks Brendan Nelson's channel tomorrow. So, yes. And what I'll do with that is, if you can't catch that live broadcast with the Niners fan, with Jesse, tomorrow, I'm going to have him send me a copy, and then I'll upload to the channel that night and make sure that I have a copy on my end uploaded for you guys to check out. So a lot of content coming your way the next couple days, guys. Lots of content. Paul Third with a $2 donation. Thank you, Paul. Says, win or lose, drinking psoriasis game stream. Win or lose drinking psoriasis game stream. We could maybe do, I could maybe get a little bit of, some liquored. It's been a while. It's due for, I always say the drinking stream is always the one we do when the year's wearing down and winding down, and or when the seasons come to a close. So last year, my drinking stream was on the Rams injury of Russell Wilson, because I recognized that have the end of the year at that time. This year has gone a little bit longer, Paul. So I think you're onto something. I think I got to make a call to Dr. Sanders and have him bring me a couple, maybe a bottle of we'll make Mark, maybe some Jack, some beer. I think it's a good idea though, Paul. I do. I think that'd be kind of fun. Do a little bit of a stream. So buckle in, folks. We might have ourselves a little bit of a Brandon on tilt type stream with little drinky poo. Good idea though, Paul. Thank you for the donation too, by the way. Ryan Ball, I think Darrell Taylor could go off in this game. I'm going to be watching for him. Well, that's certainly a possibility here. I mean, he's then coming on stronger and stronger. Carroll talked about the fact that he felt like Bruce Irvin was really having a good effect on him. I feel a little bit like shades of last year, sort of Rashad Penny talking about Adrian Peterson and how he kind of helped him along. And I wonder if Bruce is maybe given a little bit of the same help over there to Darrell Taylor. And Bruce himself is sort of carrying on the Seahawks tradition, because he had it brought down to him by Chris Clemens and Cliff Averill. These guys were the guys that kind of taught this knowledge to him, and he's passing it down, and it is learned knowledge. Sometimes the little tricks of the trade. And maybe he's kind of getting a few of those things imparted onto Darrell Taylor. Certainly would then maybe explain a little bit more of why we've seen that increase in production. It's nice they found him a role here now at least, and you can work between Boye Mafe and Darrell Taylor in this game and have an early run defender on early downs and then get your pass rusher in there on pass rushing downs. And the combination of the two of them should be pretty good to go, I think, in this football game, along with then having the offset of Irvin and Uchenna. So your edges are going to be pretty clear in this game, and you got a little bit of depth, which is good to see. Joe Lopez says, Mr. Brando, saludos. Saludos to you too, sir. Says, hey, who would you say is the best center in the draft? Schmitz from Minnesota is so far the best center that I've seen in the draft. I've got two guys that I'm a little bit behind on watching that are on my list, so they'll be the next guys up. I think Schmitz is a second-round center. I think Patterson from Notre Dame may creep into the second round. He's pretty good. I think Luke Wilper will drop into the third. There's a couple other guys I've looked at, but he's the one that's kind of has stood out to me as a cut above the other guys. There's no real super talents in this draft. There's no guy like Creed Humphrey or Linderbaum last year, Joe, that really yes, give me this center. This guy will work. It really pops off the tape. It's really easy to identify how they would fit. Not quite to that level this year with these centers, but still really good, still fun. I was watching last night, for instance, the Van Pram kid out of Georgia, and I know he's played, I think, a little more guard this year, but I was watching some of his center snaps last year with Georgia, and he's an interesting cat too, but just some worries with the movement and space on some of these centers in this draft, and we need a mobile guy. That's why we brought in Blythe over the top of a Posick, is mobility is now more of a requirement kind of the position. So not too many of those guys in this one, Joe, unfortunately. Rain in the Cut with a $5 donation. Thank you, Rain in the Cut. I appreciate you. Says it would be just like the Hawks to beat them in the playoffs. It would, wouldn't it, Rain? I mean, it would be just, like I said, and it would fit to, if you're talking about a plot line for the season or a thread for the season, it would fit absolutely to the type of the season. That's why I say I feel these echoes of the offseason where everyone was saying that my Hawk team had no chance this year, that they were already going to be one of the worst rosters in football to start things off before they'd even seen any football at all. And I think people have seen football now. We're at 9-8, and people are still going, oh, well, you played bad at the end of the year a little bit, and so now, I mean, what do you even got a shot? We got a shot. We got a shot. These divisional matchups are very rare to turn into, even in normal regular season games, say nothing of playoffs, they're very rare to turn into these, blowout type games. They may be better than us and all that, but I think we keep this thing close, man. And when we keep it close, anything can happen at that point. So Paul, you didn't mean psoriasis. I was the psoriasis, Paul. Thank you for the $2 donation. I was wondering what you meant by psoriasis. Yeah, I think a post-game drink stream's about in order here. I think you're on the right mark with that, and I think everybody in the chat would give me a big thumbs up on that one. So, hey, if I get sloppy, it's on you, Paul. I get sloppy on Sunday, it is on you. But thank you, man. Great suggestion. Soon with a $2 donation says we need to play reckless like the Lions did. Wow, great comment. Great comment. Thank you for the donation. That's really the mindset that I have too with this. That is absolutely the mindset that I have too with this, in the respect of, I watched that Lions team playing there in Green Bay. They weren't playing fearful. They weren't playing like they had no chance to do anything after this game. They wanted that game. And not only did they want that game, they played like they wanted to win it. Not like they were not trying to lose. They were going for it. And Dan Campbell with his aggressiveness at the end, going for it on fourth down, and then not to just try to run it, which you would run pretty good on the day. You could have easily just gone back, let's try on the fourth down and run it. We have run the ball well. It's not one of those situations where you run the ball bad and you have a fourth and short, and then the coach tries to go the run game, and you're like, Coach, hold on, we haven't run the ball good all day. Why would you go to it? No, it'd been good. But he goes to a pass play because the offensive, he's letting his offensive coordinator just go with the flow, and knows what the Packers defense is likely to do with their tendencies in that situation and taking advantage. I loved their aggressiveness. I think we pull a page out of the Lions book this week in how we go at it. And I bet Carroll does. I bet he looks at this situation very much as a guy who sees things historically and understands the uniqueness of this team in this season and where he is going in the playoffs at this time. It wouldn't be this way next year, for instance, right? You get to the playoffs next year, there will be expectation. It'll be like, well, you guys have been there once now. Now you need to do something. Expectation, pressure. That ain't there this year. That ain't there this year at all. So I love it soon. Let's get the pressure up. Let's turn on the oven, get that thing up to 450, right? I want to see that flame licking off the top of the oven here this week. So let's go. Reckless is the way. Reckless is the big, beautiful way to go in this game. Jacob, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you, Jacob. Welcome aboard the Hawks Nest. Joa Ferraria, Joa or Hoa, Ferraria. Well, I appreciate you subscribing. I may not be able to pronounce your name, but I do appreciate you subscribing. And Megan, I promise I will not ruin any more of Star Wars for you. I won't go any farther. I mean, it's been out 3 decades, but 4 decades. Come on, man, you got to see Star Wars. You got to check it out. The Pit, the closer we get to this game, the more confident I'm getting, but the Hawks could actually pull this off, especially with that monsoon. Great point. Monsoon is a great equalizer in this situation, and it certainly could become the equalizer in this one too. I think that you look at that game, for instance, first game of the year. 49ers are going into Chicago, and it's an absolute monsoon there. I mean, the conditions are horrible. Guys can't get their footing. It's sloppy. And that Bears team didn't deserve to be on that. In retrospect, you look at those two teams, you go like, that Niner team should have beaten them by 3 touchdowns. But look what that field did. Look at how it leveled the field a little bit. And it does that. It's like the snow games where there's so much snow, the players are just kind of can't get the footing right. Everything's a little bit tip tappy. Everything's a little bit of just like not trusting your feet. And so you can't go full bore. And then I think that does kind of, more than giving one team the true advantage over the other, I think neither of these teams are built enough in a way of like a team coming into this game, it'd be the big, monstrous, hulking type team that might have that advantage then in this kind of game because they can mono you off the ball a little bit and dominate you that way, and you don't get to rely on your strength, your speed, and your quickness on the other side of it. But I think these teams are somewhat similar in certain respects of things, so I think it'll be kind of more of just an equalizer than it's an advantage to one or the other. But it does help, I think, from the Niners being able to run their offense, let's say, purified. Maybe slows down that defense maybe a half a step. Matthew Mafe is breaking out at the right time. Boy, is he ever. He's coming along and very excited about that kid's future. Soon says, look at the PFF for Tez. Start him. Volcano Joe, Kenneth Walker goes off, has 200-plus yards and 3 touchdowns. Add on that, Geno Smith's 2 touchdowns a game, and we're in the money. You better believe we're in the money at that point. You're in the money at that point, I should say. Kyle says, Colin Cowherd saying it's going to be a cakewalk for the 49ers because it's raining on Saturday. Who should tell him about the city of Seattle? We lost by 20, then down to 8. I think we win by 3. Ooh, I like that, Kyle. I like that. Yeah, I heard Colin in his little comment on it. I saw it posted out too. And yeah, he's had no faith. He keeps saying he's from Seattle, like acting like he has some sort of care for the team or that and he only just says it to act like it gives him some sort of order of expertise in understanding the team, which he does not really have. And he's shown that since this offseason with his silly ass predictions. But yeah, he's leading the line, he's leading the charge on this one, but there are many behind him. And it's an easy take to have. It's easy to look at this game and go, well, it's just blowout Niners, no doubt. That's the simple way. But look a little more in depth in it. Look a little bit more at the historical perspective of it. Teams playing each other for a third time. Teams that play each other within a division twice a year. Niners aren't going to surprise anything. They're not going to have a lot of different little new wrinkles they can throw at us. We'll know what's coming. They'll know what's coming from us. And we'll just have to see how it plays out at that point. Matthew says, I'd like to grapple with Boza. Someone said he had no neck. Laughed my ass off. I know. He's like a piece of muscle, basically. Crazy Truffle says, the crazy thing is if we beat the Niners, then we have a chance of going all the way. Oh, you'll see some Seahawks fans dreaming big if we pull off this game. You will see some games pulling off big if we do this one. No doubt about it. No doubt. Rain in the Cut with a $5 donation. Thank you, Rain. I really do appreciate you. You're awesome. Says, run the ball 40 plus times. Woolen gets another one. Diggs proves why he's our ball hawk. Hey, Rain in the Cut. Diggs has had a couple of interceptions against this Niner team in the past. So he has pulled a few of those picks through. If I'm not mistaken, I think he had 1 or 2 a couple years ago in 2019, I think, in the same game. But yeah, if you get to 40 plus times in this football game, Rain in the Cut, then you've won it. If you get 40 rushing attempts in this football game without looking at the score, I could just kind of, I could kind of psychic that one. That's going to be a win. That means you're moving the chains. That means you're controlling the time of possession. That means you're keeping the San Francisco offense off the football field. That would be if you're looking for a one stat indicator of a victory, that one could be the stat right there. I love that 40 plus stat, Rain in the Cut. And thank you for the $5 donation. I love your prediction, man. Woolen gets one. Diggs gets one. You know, Walker goes off a little bit. A little break here, a little break there. A mill here, a mill there. Make a few moves. Thank you, Ray in the Cut. Appreciate you, though, man. Megan with another $10 donation. Man, Megan, thank you so much. And appreciate it as well. I didn't feel like I got to acknowledge because you didn't get to see my face acknowledge it. The double $20 donation on there on the last stream there that got kind of cut out. So thank you for that the donation, Megan. I really do appreciate you. You're awesome. It says, B, I have seen every Star Wars movie at least 10 times and have 9 shelves of collectibles in my office, including my Seahawks colored double-bladed lightsaber. You got a Seahawks colored double-bladed lightsaber. You got the Darth Maul Seahawks saber. That's pretty badass, Megan. I'm not gonna lie. If I had the Darth Maul Seahawks bladed colored, I can't say that damn word right. Seahawks colored double-bladed lightsaber. Say that 5 times fast. I'd have that on the background in behind me. I'd be putting that one on. It'd always be on. It'd always be lit every show. That's awesome, Megan. Well, good. I don't like spoiling stuffers. I know some people are waiting on franchises for their right time to sit back and fully take them all in. You know, everybody's got their kind of speed on that stuff, so I try to be aware of it if I can. But Megan, thank you for all the donations, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan as well. Except for the new stuff. I know maybe Andor is supposed to be good, but the movies, the new one was a no. The new trilogy was a big no from me. Big no from me. Megan says, got the green large on today. Nice. There we go. You know, I got mine on Sunday. I got mine prepped for Sunday already. Pete Carroll's cap trip. I think the rain saved Purdy from throwing an interception because they're going to run more now. It's possible. We could be in a run fest this next week, depending on how that weather plays out. Kittle and Usyk, Elena says, with Trent Williams is why the run game explodes. There are superior physical blockers preventing D linemen from shedding blocks to stop Debo and McCaffrey. True. Very true. Well, they're good. Elena's not a 49er fan, folks. Don't go to Elena. Elena's been here for a long time. She's a Seahawk fan through and through. I don't have any problem with someone looking at the game and saying that they think the Hot Niners are going to win, but I think we definitely have a chance. And I don't think it just goes for sake and that we play this game 10 times, they beat us 10 times. You know, I think if we play this game 10 times, they beat us 6 or 7. But this will be one of those 3 this week. Gemini Glass, how do I go about sending you a Seahawks glass pendant? Ooh, good question. I think I've got an address on my profile. I thought I have one put on there, but if not, reach out to me on Twitter and I can get you an address on that. I'll go and post it out. I've been meaning to get a P.O. box, so I'll put it up behind me though. Send it my way. We'll get it up on the deal. Faux show. My cat is snoring right now. She's just snoring later when she gets older. It's weird. Defender of Logic, Chris Simmons made a point about how Seahawks offense was not able to adjust to the quarters coverage. What are your thoughts on what adjustments can be done on the offensive side of the ball? Well, quarters coverage is mainly one that's going to drop back as a group line defenders, playing towards kind of a sticks or to a spot or with depth. I think one of the things that's gone out of the offense a little bit, which has allowed us to become more predictable defender, has been less of the bootlegs of Geno rolling to the strong side. We saw last week him trying to he threw an interception rolling to the weak side, which is a tougher throw for quarterbacks to make. But I think if you moved a little bit more of the bootleg action in there and go back to that a little bit, I think that'd be better. It feels like the offense has got a little bit more built upon shotgun-like looks. A little bit less with Geno under center, kind of back to the offense kind of ball. So kind of maybe going back to more of the pure designs of the offense and what it was at the beginning of the season a bit, I think would be helpful. I'm sure that has been a big part, a little bit of a part that's hurt it there. I think really what's mainly harmed the offense, and especially the passing offense above all else, defender logic, is too much of a need to throw too often, number one. And number two, not enough of a running game to lean back on. So you become one-dimensional, which now the zone's tightened down. Now there's more defenders dropping in coverage. Now the pass rushers pin their ears back, and they're faster than they were before. All that stuff starts to work together for me, that then makes the offense fall apart more than it is about just simply like a coverage unit has sort of solved the offense, so to speak, and so it's more of that. Certainly some of this too is the Shane Waldron, lives in, or I saw the latest pose there. Shane Waldron's certainly not had necessarily a good run as far as calling games as he had at the start of the year too. I think it all kind of goes together. Thanks, Devin. Appreciate you let me know that was all right. I was worried my thing might go crazy again. Tommy says, worried about Jason Myers. We're going to need him this game, and he's already starting his S. It's an odd year. It is an odd year. It begins, Tommy. And so it begins. Like I said in the opening on this, we're going to desperately need our special teams unit to roll this week. Cannot have them be a problem or cause issues. The kicker's got to make his kicks, especially in a close game like this one's going to be. So I hope you're wrong on that. But again, too, Tommy, we are playing in that cyclone, right? Nothing's going to make a kicking game go worse than having the rainy elements. I think those are even worse than it'll probably be windy there because it's San Francisco too. So it's going to be a tough environment to kick in, Tommy. There might be a lot of fourth downs we go for in this game. Fieria, it's okay to still believe we got through that Lions game. I have faith, Joa. I've got faith. Greg says, by the way, Woolen has better coverage stats than Sauce according to Pro Football Reference. Not a perfect site, but I trust them more than PFF. I might too. I like Pro Football Reference a lot and how they do what they do. I saw another highlight with Sauce again, where it's just all he's doing is just grabbing and holding and grabbing and holding. And every highlight I see of that guy, that's his technique. And like he gets away with it so great, but then I'm not going to appreciate your supposed greatness when it's all relying upon you pulling a jersey every single play, and he's just mugging guys, but you're like, dude, like, come on, really? Use your feet. Little Drip says, let's go. Let them sleep on the Hawks. Then boom, Hawks punch him in the mouth. Now what's up? Let's go. Hey, let's go, Little Drip. That's exactly what I want in here. Like, yeah, let him go to sleep. Sleep. You go to sleep. So what now? Oh, you guys are punching like that today? Yeah, we're punching like that today. We ain't got nothing to lose. You got everything to lose. You're in your window, Niners. Lose this game and you're a laughingstock of the league. We lose this game, we're just on the first step to the next dynasty-like run. Win-win. Either way. T-Man says, did you see Pete riding the scooter? I did. It was a funny little whole moment where the players are doing the gritty on one side, then he comes flying in on his little scooter. It made me laugh. It did. Pete's hilarious. So he's a 12-year-old, 70-year-old body at times. But somebody else said, Austin, as you say too as well, if you get through the Niners, you've gotten through the big dogs. Somebody was putting in my comment section, I'd give you credit right now, but I can't remember who it was in one of my comments here on the vid from yesterday, that it's a little bit of echoes of the Mariners with the Astros. And the Astros went on to win the World Series. But, you were in every one of those games that you played against them, even though they did sweep you. It was close. And indeed, if you had gotten through the Astros, there was certainly a pathway that you could say is you've taken out the biggest bully on the block. You've taken down the biggest threat that you have. It's only going to get easier from here on out. And I do think that would be the case if our Hawks win. I don't think the Eagles are playing as good as they've been playing. The Vikings are not playing anywhere near as good as they were once playing, if they were ever really playing that good. The Cowboys are a mixed bag week in and week out. Nobody's scared of the Giants. And Tampa Bay barely won their division with a 500 record even. Barely over a 500 record. So I know they beat us once, but I don't take it for granted that they would just handle us. It goes without saying on that. So yeah, this is the toughest draw. And I like that. I want that noise. Joe Lopez says, I strongly believe K9 will have a breakout run and solidify his place in Seahawks history. Boy, if he had a big running day, he would. If he could have one of those rookie playoff runs, like remember DK a couple years ago in Philadelphia set the playoff rookie record for most receiving yards in his first game. Wouldn't that be? That'd be kind of nice with Walker pulling that off, wouldn't it? Carl, the thing the Niners are most scared of is getting beat by Geno. Oh, I bet they are. Because it only highlights further, if they get beat by Geno, the question marks they have at the quarterback position. You can see it in how they so fully have tried to wrap their arms around Purdy being the answer, as though he's Tom Brady reborn. They're desperate to find their guy because they don't have faith in Lance, and they know what Jimmy Garoppolo is. And that would be just the most beautiful thing of the whole thing, to be able to pull it off in that way. Shay1, thank you for subscribing, Shay1. Carl Nerdy with another $2 donation. Thank you, Carl. Tip for you, tip for your take on the new Star Wars movies. All right, you're gonna get me my blood worked up here on this one, Carl. And probably more so, people are about to go nerd. I grew up on the Star Wars. I was right in my youth period of the original Star Wars trilogy, where that stuff hit hard. Right, I'm an old head in that respect. And I really liked it. And I could recognize that all Mr. J.J. Abrams' magic box, I can't tell any kind of enjoyable story for the life of me, took the franchise and, basically has messed it up with their approach to it. That first movie they came out was basically a shot-for-shot remake of the original Star Wars. And then they went through the next two and they decided to crap on Luke and destroy that character. And I think that they... I think they did a lot of damage to the franchise. They've got me checked out on really watching any of the new stuff because of it. Just because almost specifically what they did with the Luke character in that story, and how I might punch Rian Johnson in the face if I ever saw him. Like, that was, as a kid that grew up on that guy, and grew up on that story, and how much of an effect it had for them to do what they did to him. And they're doing it to a lot of franchises right now. So it's not, Star Wars isn't the only one. They're busy going through and wrecking as many as they can. I'm sure they're going to take down Indiana Jones next. I'm sure that's the next one up on the gate to try to drop kick if they can, because they seem, for whatever reason, to want to be hitting the IPs right between the crotch for whatever reason. But didn't like any part of any of it. What about, wasn't this guy cool? No, none of it was cool. Didn't like any of it. None of it. Not even the emote boy, who's a pale comparison to Darth. So yeah, I wasn't a big fan, Carl. I could do without another Abrams movie or show or anything else for the history of man. That guy is mid in every way. Les Grossman with a $5 dono. If y'all beat San Francisco, do you think you can go into Philly and win? I'm an Eagles fan, and I think this is the best Philly team ever. This is the best Philly team, even better than the 2017 season. Well, first off, thank you, Les, for the $5 donation. Second off, I might be apt to agree with you as far as, if we just talk about talent level, this team may be a team that does eclipse that 2017 season. My question, I guess, here's where maybe my hope would come into going into Philadelphia and winning there, Les. Number one, we have gone in there a couple times in recent years and won in Philadelphia on the road in the playoffs. So it doesn't make it impossible to do so, though those were different teams. So I won't say that makes it a rule of thumb that you can. I've wondered for a long period of time, Les, and I said this even before the Eagles kind of went into the recent end of the year kind of, it wasn't like bad, but just kind of like weren't playing like they were playing mid-year, which I feel like the Eagles might have had a situation happen like the New York Yankees had in baseball this last year, where they peak out mid-year and they peak a little too soon. And they strike me as a team that might have peaked just a little bit too soon and not playing their best football of the year right now. That, combined with the fact, where is Jalen Hurts' health at as far as his ability to throw the football? I know he'll be out there on the football field probably, right? I know they'll put him out there, but is he truly healthy enough at that point with that arm and where it's at to be able to make the throws he needs to make, especially considering with a guy like Jalen? I had big time questions about him when you got him into January, when you got him into the elements, when it wasn't warm and he could just throw it free and easy. Could he make those kind of throws? And that will be his kind of prove it hour for me to watch beyond my team getting there or not into the next round, is to see if he can, because that's a big question mark for me with Hurts. And really where my main knock is with him. I like the kid a lot, and I love what he can do with his legs. And, there's certain things of what he does from the quarterback position that's very good. But when it comes down to, playoff football, you got to make the big time throws. You got to make the 15-yard out on a crispy line. You got to hit the 9 route on the few times you're going to attempt to take that shot in a football game. And we'll see if he does. I'm not saying we would be the favorites, Les. I'm not. Your Eagles team would have every right to be the favorite with us going into Philadelphia, every bit as much as the Niners team have absolutely the right to be an 8.5, 9.5 point favorite as we go into this on the road with them. But I don't think that you guys are, if I was facing Philadelphia in the Philadelphia team October 10th versus the Philadelphia team, January 11th, I'm a little more fearful of that one in October than I am of this one that's the current iteration. Thank you, though, Les. I appreciate your donation, man. I do. Adrian X or Taker610 with a $2 donation. Thank you, Adrian. Taker610. If the entire 49ers defensive line tears their ACL, we win. Well, it's a really wet turf, man. Taker, it's a really wet turf. All right. It's hard to know which cleats to wear and stuff. It's stuff can happen on that. So we'll see. Unfortunately, fortunately, that's the good part of what you get. I think with the rainy weather and the when the turf gets like that, is it probably makes it slicker, so the feet are less apt to catch and cause ACLs. But you never know, Taker. We could still maybe get them. Adrian XA with a $2 donation. Thank you, Adrian X. There is a reason why football gods picked us. Laughing out loud. We're favored by the football gods right now. They're up on Mount Lombardi, and they're looking down at us, and they're like, how do we not like this team? They're very good. Yes, we shall let them win. And like a lightning bolt fires out of his finger to the field, and like one of the players is like, what just happened to him, John? I don't know. It looks like electricity. It just happened to happen to Bosa, too. What kind of luck is that? I don't know. It's like the gods themselves struck Bosa with lightning. The gods are up there like, but I agree with you. We are the gods pick, man. I don't know if it means we'll win. It's a good Niners team. It's a good enough Niners team to overrule the gods, but we'll see. We'll see. Rating the cut with a $5 donation. Thank you for the triple dono. Rating the cut. Exactly. We have nothing to lose. This feels like a game we can win. Pressure is a real thing in football. Pressure is a real thing in football. And when you're in your window and when you're in your time and we're like the Niners have been, right? Where you've had these years now where you've gotten into the playoffs. You've gotten to the Super Bowl. Last year, you surprised the Packers on the road in the playoffs, and you really got yourself right to the brink of getting back to the Super Bowl. When you get that close and it falls away, and that close and it falls away, the pressure starts to mount. Pressure starts to mount with that core nucleus that you have that is getting older. Trent Williams is getting older. I know Bosa's not old and Armstead isn't necessarily old, but it's, Armstead didn't have his greatest year here, right? Like how much longer are you going to get him at potentially prime like level? So we got nothing to lose. There is no pressure on us. And as I say, I can't remember of another team that got into the playoffs in recent memory who gets in. I mean, maybe like the Eagles last year had a little bit of this feeling, maybe, I guess, a little bit. And it didn't help them, I guess. But I think it does help us where you go in and go, this is just you going in and letting it flow, letting it loose. No one's going to make any final judgments off this game if we look silly of it, especially if we look silly because we're going for it and it's damn the torpedoes. Don't worry about the fallout. We're just going to throw it all at it, throw all the guns out, all the missiles out, let it loose. Well, then you feel like, hey, at least we shot it, right? We shot every cannon, we shot every last ammunition point that we had, and we can't be, maybe we didn't have the big enough guns, but it ain't because we left ammo back in the blockade. No, we took it all out, Look at Bill over there. He's got the Rambo cross chest thing going with his ammo right now. We're gonna use all this up. So that's all I want to see. Just be aggressive, go for it. Try to take this win out there. Try to go get it. And if you fall short, no biggie. We got nothing to lose, like you say, Rain in the Cut. Adrian X with a $2 donation. Thank you, Adrian X. It says, love him or hate him, Pete will have the team ready on Saturday. He will indeed have the team ready on Saturday. You better believe he will. And this is the kind of challenge that he loves in motivation and getting guys ready to go. That's a Pete forte. He definitely can do that. There are questions I've had about Pete, but I usually don't have to question very often whether or not he's going to get a team ready to play. And I think this team is going to understand what they've got at stake here, understand where they are. And it has been a long year, but you have a lot now still here in your grasp to go take potentially. And again, no pressure. Just let it all lay out. Let it all loose. Let it all hang out. But thank you, Adrian X. I agree. Pete will have this team ready to go. Max Sherman with a $5 donation. Thank you, Max. If we beat the 49ers, we could beat anybody. If so saying it right now, Super Bowl bound. So Max is saying, hey, if we can beat the Niners, we're going Super Bowl bound. Look, it's true. And it's not, I think, again, just being a blind fan to say that. Look at the NFC right now. The Minnesota Vikings have the worst defense in football this year. or darn near. The offense has not quite been playing as good as recently as they've been throughout the year. As I said, the Cowboys are up and down. Hard to predict what they're going to be week in and week out. Giants barely got in and certainly have plenty of holes. We've already beat them once. As I was speaking about with the Eagles, with Mr. Grossman there, that, certainly the Eagles are a great team. They are. But if you don't have your number one quarterback out there able to run and able to throw and able to do all that you need him to do, that does then limit you. That then does open up a little bit more of a crack for a team to walk through there. Say nothing, in fact, we have to get a guarantee of the Eagles getting there. They have yet to, with Jalen Hurts, win a playoff game. So they also have to go out there and still win a game just to get in. And look, Tom Brady and that team in Tampa Bay has absolutely looked vulnerable at times. And I think a big part of us losing that game, going on the road in Germany and whatnot, was probably a big impactful point of that. We're not going to deal with that same thing if we had to face them down again in Tampa Bay. So it's opened up. I don't think it's an empty thing to say, Max, that, this is like the Astros, the Mariners. You take down the Astros and you got a nice open pathway door now to get yourself to that World Series and go win if you can do it. Thank you for the $5 donation, though, man. Appreciate you. Kevin Lonice with another $5 dono. Appreciate you, Kevin. Says, what makes me so happy is the experience this young team will get. They will. You can't fake playoff experience. You can't fake the emotions you feel. I was listening to a player today talk about the fact that there's two times where the pads really start hitting harder, where there's a noticeable difference in how guys are hitting and what's going on. And he says that's week one, because you've just been practicing and you've been beating up on each other and you're chomping at the bit to hit somebody else. But then he says playoff games is when there's an extra level of intensity that ratchets it up in these kind of games. And I would expect that you would absolutely get to see that this week. And for a young team, for rookies to go out there and be able to get that first taste, to get their beak wet, to dip their toe in that water, that certainly is going to be beneficial as we look towards the far end approach of this in the long-term view of this team becoming elite. And one way to become elite is to get that playoff footing and knowing what it takes. Because we're not talking about just getting to the playoffs. We're talking about getting to be an elite team where you're pushing for championships, where you're considered one of those creme de la creme, cream of the crop type teams at the top of the NFL who's truly got a shot for a couple year period there to go out there and get that Super Bowl. So this would give them that. I think it would, Kevin. It's going to be a highly beneficial game to them, win or lose, into the future point on that. It's a great point on your part. Taker 610 with a $2 donation. How valuable was Max Unger back in the day? Max Unger was tremendously important. I think Max was as much important for some of the stuff he brings from the neck up to the center position when he was here. He was very good at the second level blocks and stuff, getting to linebackers. He had a little more he was kind of one of those early guys for being real mobile centers, where centers had been before that traditionally, of course, more stuck towards the line of scrimmage a little bit more. And sometimes they come downhill, but he really could get downhill and do it effectively. But he was really a guy from that neck up that understood what was going on, especially when it comes to getting the protections right. I do maintain that it was a proper trade to move him at the time as he was starting to break down. I think he elongated his career going to the Saints, who were going to throw the ball a little bit more and feed more into what was the strength of his game at that time, which was pass protection, which was making the line calls. So we could go to New Orleans and he could take a lot of Drew Brees' line call need off of his shoulders at that point. Now it just falls on him, and now Drew can just lock in on reading the defense, and Max can kind of handle that stuff up front. He was very tremendous in that respect of things. And again, a talented guy back in the day as well, but I didn't necessarily like the Jimmy Graham thing part of it, but I could understand why they wanted to move him at that time, as they were trying to have to make some, that's part of the reality at that point, Taker, where you got to make your choice on, we're doing this for Jimmy Graham and we're going to bring him in and we're not going to pay Max otherwise, but do we want to pay Max with him kind of breaking down, or do we want to try to get the skill positions? And the team made a conscious choice at one point or another with Russell Wilson that the offset of Russell Wilson's contract is going to come along the offensive line. That was the tacit choice that was made at one point or another as Russell was then starting to get paid. And that's why when you saw Max move, it was right along the time period where Russ was really starting to hit the cap. You were going to have to offset some of that. Now they did, like I said, put money into Jimmy Graham there, but the thought process was we've got to have the skill position players. If you guys notice throughout Russell's time here, as light as they've gone on the offensive line, right, which we've all knocked them for, the skill position guys were always still kind of always reloaded to some degree, right? Jimmy Graham here, Paul Richardson in the second round, Tyler Lockett in the second round, DK Metcalf in the second round, paying Doug Baldwin money. They were always going to at least make sure they had the guys on the outside that could still win. Appreciate you, Taker. Randall McDaniel in the house. What's up, Randall? It's good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Says, I missed the opening monologue. What's the recipe to a W? I have my own thought, but want to hear the maestros. Yeah, I got it here. Here are my 9 main points on this one, Randall. And that is, I want to be stacking the box and stop the run. Stacked fronts are really, I think, important in this particular game, Randall, for where they need to go at with this, in my opinion. So stack them up. And not to necessarily show blitz, not to blitz more, but just to show that look, to show the heavy look, to show a lot of guys up around the line of scrimmage, to make Brock Purdy uncomfortable in what he's looking at and seeing. I think that's a big part of it. Number 2, make Brock Purdy beat you with his arm. Right? This is a little bit of a component of number 1 where you stop the run first. So that's going to lean into then Brock Purdy having to, beat you with his arm, and especially make him beat you on the deeper throws, Randall, not on the short stuff, but on the deeper stuff. Make him prove that he can hit those NFL throws, which I don't think he's been kind of forced to have to do as opposed at this point yet in his career. Remain balanced offensively, even if it's painful, Randall. Stick with that running game. Don't become pass happy. You're going to get yourself in trouble, even if you're having a lot of success in throwing the ball. I think that's a little bit of a road to ruin a little bit. 4 is win the turnover battle. You lost both of the first 2 turnover battles in the first game. Don't do that here. That's the places you've got to try to control that as much as you can. Maybe you can't cause turnovers, but you can certainly control the amount that you give up to a certain degree. Number 5 is keep the time of possession near equal. You lost both time of possession battles with both of these Niner losses. The first one was really bad, Randall, where it was 2-1. You need to take that back. You need to get that back to more of an even state here to have a chance, I think, in this game. Number 6, the special teams need to be special. I don't need to tell you, self-explanatory on that one. The special teams is going to have to carry the day for us on this one. They're going to have to be truly a third equal part to this team in this game and what they do for us. Number 7 is trick play time. I want some trick plays in this, Randall. I know we've tried it before on this, but I want to see it again this week. I think it would be a good pathway and a good approach for us. Not a lot, but at least to mix it in just a tiny little bit. And especially if just to take advantage of maybe some of the aggressiveness, Randall, that you get from the San Francisco 49er defense. Number 8 is don't worry about the bombs of San Francisco. Stay in cover 3, cover 1. Which is one single high safety and maybe some man elements on the outside a little bit, but don't go into cover 3 looks. Don't go into cover 2 looks, Randall, because the fact that you don't have to worry about the deep arm of Brock Purdy. So let's not fear the thing that he can't beat you at, right? Don't fear the thing that he really can't harm you in. And then number 9 is just Coach Carroll let loose. Don't play this game tight. Don't play this game with a sense of we're just trying not to lose. Go out there and try to win this game like a little bit of the spirit that you saw from the Lions going into Green Bay. Let's pull a page from their book here, Randall, and go that same direction in this upcoming matchup against the Niners. Those would be my main 9 ones that I think if you put those all together, and I don't think it's an incredibly large task that I'm asking him of, right? I'm not saying stop McCaffrey, stop Deebo Samuel, hold down this guy. No, we're specifically guiding and saying do these specific things. And when it comes to special teams being special, they've been special all year. So just do what you've done in that element. It's not asking them to do something outside of themselves to find that victory this week against San Francisco. But there are, I think, very specific things that they do need to do to get the win. And it's not just 1 or 2. It's a collection of things, in my opinion, Randall. Thank you for the $5 donation, though. Appreciate you as always, brother. And I hope you're doing good out there tonight. Tim Lumen, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Welcome aboard the Hawks Nest, and I appreciate you for subscribing. We've had a ton of new subscribers, folks. We're going to maybe cross 11,000 here by the end of the game here on Saturday, so that would be absolutely tremendous. Randall with another $20 donation. My God, Randall, thank you so much, my brother. You are awesome. I really do appreciate it, and I salute you, sir. Salute you, kind sir. Says, commit to the run. So that's the staying balanced. I'm with you on that. Utilize tight end, shorten the game. I think it will be a 1-score game either way. Bank on a rookie quarterback in the first playoff game making a mistake. Must get in Purdy's face early often. Geno, play smart ball. D is peaking. I think you captured pretty well most of what I said. I think you added on a couple of points that I didn't offer in there that are absolutely something that maybe I would add on as something that would be, yes, I would agree that you want to work this. Utilize the tight end and short game, Randall. I think specifically the bootlegs that were more of a common denominator of the team early on in the year. Let's refocus on that again. Those easy, especially early on. We've put Geno in positions at times early in games where we're having him make throws right off of the first drive that are high leverage throws, that are high difficulty throws. Get him rolling out early on. Get him some easy completions, especially in the rain, even if it's going to only get you 3 or 4 yards. Work that a little bit. Work the boundary a little bit. Yes, I think especially within that, the tight ends would be a spot that you could absolutely look to attack with. Now, Fred Warner's a great coverage linebacker out there. Drew Greenlaw's not chopped liver himself. They're pretty good in coverage, but if you can build it off the run game, that's part of what you're saying with remaining balance. Those two things will go in good combination of each other. I do agree with you. I think it does come down to a one-score game into the fourth quarter. I do think Purdy's eventually going to, give up a mistake here or have that rookie moment. Guys that are seventh round undrafted or seventh round, rookie quarterbacks who played a handful of games aren't going to just play this clean this long forever. Some point or another, it's going to show itself up with that. It just has to me. And I think like you said, get into Purdy's face. That's what I'm saying about that was my number one point with this, Randall, which was run the stack the box, stop the run, stack the box, stop the run. And in stacking the box, you'll stop the run, but in stacking the box, you'll also be getting into Purdy's face like you're talking about, which then gets him uncertain, which then gets him dodgy. I referenced it again, that first matchup against Purdy. He starts out 11 for 11 passing. You're dropping in your soft zones. You're dropping in your cover 3s. You're dropping in your cover 2s, your cover 4s. You're dropping into a soft-based defense in those games through those first 11 completions. Then you blitz. And when you blitz, you cause an incompletion. You cause him to noticeably get worried and frantic and throw the ball and not make a good pass. You come off of that, Randall. You run a stack front, but you drop the show of the blitz into coverage post-snap, and you fake him out. And he is faked out, as rookies are going to tend to do. Throws an incompletion. Lean into that again. Look at that very game in that moment. 11 completions to start out when you went to your traditional stuff. 2 incompletions when you went a little bit outside of yourself. I know it's a small sample size to the two things, but that's historically also, Randall, how you get to rookie quarterbacks, right? Pressure. This is why if you look at Bill Belichick and the success that he has had over a 15-year span going against rookie quarterbacks in the National Football League, at the beginning of that, in Belichick's philosophy, at the base of what he tries to do against those rookie quarterbacks, it is, I am going to send the house. I am going to give him pressure in his face from every different direction. He's going to see blitzes looks he's never seen in his life. And that's the same thing I would apply here. It doesn't mean that you have to bring the blitz, but you can show it a lot. You can really get him thinking a lot. And that's the way to go with this one, Randall. I really, really agree with that one. Mumbles, thank you for the $5 donation. I really do appreciate it, Mumbles. Says a couple of questions. What's Tariq's status injury, and do you think Pete should win Coach of the Year? Tariq's status and injury is he's going to play. I think he's got an ankle thing going on, as I understand it. But there's been I've heard no concerns or worries, Mumbles, about whether or not he's going to play or if it's up in the air. I guess he's going to play. Should Coach Carroll win Coach of the Year? He's got a great argument to be made that he should win Coach of the Year, but there's some other guys who maybe have a little bit of a stronger argument on that. I feel a little bit like with Coach Carroll, like I might feel a little bit like with John Schneider, where they are certainly deserving of the award. And I think, in my opinion, Schneider's done more than Howie Roseman's done with Philadelphia and all that he's accomplished. But I can't deny that Roseman has, with all of his moves, come up smelling like roses time and time again. And as much as I like Coach Carroll with it, Nick Sirianni on the season he's put together with the Eagles, or Brian Daboll with the season he's put together with the New York Giants, probably one of those two guys wins it out instead over Carroll. So it's, unfortunately, as we've seen in the award season, Russell Wilson never getting himself an MVP vote even, much less the award itself. It's pretty hard for our guys to kind of get those kind of those big time awards like that, which would make it all that more cool if we could get the Offensive Rookie of the Year or Defensive Rookie of the Year with Tariq. But would I give it to Carroll over? Do I think Pete should win it over Daboll? I mean, if I'm going to be honest with you, it's probably Daboll probably gets the little bit of the nod on it because of the fact that Giants team was so bad, nowhere near playoff contention. And he got that year out of him that he got out of him without any receiving core, and Daniel Jones is a quarterback. I think Geno Smith is a demonstratively better quarterback than Daniel Jones. Jones has got maybe better mobility, but Geno's got him beat everywhere down the line. So a young team, Daboll got out of that. I might give it myself a little bit of an edge there, but I certainly wouldn't be. I'd be super celebratory if Pete wins it, man. He certainly has earned it. Max with another $2 donation. Thank you, Max. Says, how do you not let Debo destroy your defense? I don't know if it's possible sometimes with that cat, man. Niners in the very first matchup ran a fly sweep. And there are times, I'm doing the video right now on Will Anderson that I'm just trying to wrap up, but it's taken me forever. And Will Anderson's got all these snaps on college tape that goes unblocked. And I just lament it where I'm like, why would you unblock this guy? Why would you let this guy have a free run? And most of the time when you leave a defender unblocked, you're going to run the play backside away from the defender. And when that first matchup with Debo running the fly sweep, they ran the fly sweep on the front side of the play to the unblocked defender, who was Darrell Taylor. Darrell Taylor had Debo Samuel 1 yard ahead of him, dead to rights, not up to full speed, completely there to grab him. And he barely touched his ankles on the play. Debo was like past him in an instant. He's one of the true, great offensive weapons that exists. He's right there with the Tyreek Hill types and all that they're able to kind of do. And, he's got the injury stuff that does come up and bite him in the butt at times because of how he plays and how much he throws his body out there. Maybe that's the benefit we can have with this Max, is that he's not at 100%. You're not getting maximum Debo. You're getting quasi Debo. You're getting diet calorie Debo, maybe. Maybe that's what we can lean in on. So he's tough. He's tough even when you got him dead to rights, as Darrell Taylor did have him in that game. But that's, again, why I say bring down the stack box, bring extra bodies down to rally around the ball, right? It becomes less about Darrell Taylor heads up one-on-one on Debo, and now it's about two guys heads up on Debo, corralling him, right? Corralling him in the pen, just like the Cowboys do the cows in there. We just got to you go in it with your horse from this side and I'll go in from my side and we'll get him right up in there. Right there. We got him right back in the back there. There we go. That's what you got to do with him. So that's what that extra defender, I think, would help in doing in the box as well. Aaron Wood, thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate Aaron Wood. Welcome to Hawks Nest. MJ Seahawk, thank you for becoming a member of the channel, man. Welcome back aboard here on the Hawks Nest. Appreciate you on that. Thank you so much. Tony M, super chatted $2. I appreciate you too, so Tony. If I can start talking here, right? Says, offense must be efficient to beat the 49ers defense. We must. I agree, Tony. I think it begins, when I think of it, the start of it, of course, remaining balanced, right? Don't get too much into passing, get too much passing. Niners pin their ears back and they come whole hog at you. So you got to remain a little bit balanced as far as running the ball. Some of it also, to me, Tony, is you got to have Walker instructed on this one, where this is the kind of game where we need you, Walker, getting those 2-3 yards. If it's only 4 you can get, don't try to go find the 7-8 yard run. Get me the 4. Get us into 2nd and 6. Get me into situations where if I'm in third downs, I'm in third downs on 3rd and 3s. I'm 3rd and 4s. I'm not in 3rd and 8s. I'm not in 3rd and 11s. Because those are the situations and times where now you have to let the routes develop. And in the rain, those routes are going to take even longer to develop, getting up the football field, right, as they tend to do. And then that just gives that Niner pass rush, that devastating Niner pass rush, that best pass rush potentially here, I guess we could say, in the entire NFL. That just gives them that much more chance to hunt. So you've got to get into those short situations. I think you do it by balance. I think you do it by not getting negative plays. Obviously, having the line play a little bit cleaner than they did this last week, where we had, 3 false starts, I think, through the first 2 quarters of last week's game. That would help. So you got to play a little maybe cleaner on things like that you can control. But yes, Tony, you're right. Efficiency is going to be huge, and not negative plays, which is, I think, something built within that necessity of efficiency. Roxanne Roll, thank you for the $20 donation, Roxanne. I really do appreciate it. I hope you're doing well out there tonight. It says, every pundit, 49ers faithful, even some of the 12s, are spewing the talking points of the East Coast media that the 49ers are going to win in a blowout and the Hawks shouldn't even waste their time and just stay home. I foresee a lot of national crow-eating party. I do as well. Roxanne. I've heard it. I've heard it even from my own fellow 12s. Where's my faith, fellow 12s? I know my chat has it. I know my people have it. But I'm beckoning to you now. I'm calling to you now. I'm calling you to the mat right now. No one thought this team was going to be where it is right now. So why not us this next week? No one thought we were going to be here. Why are these people so right in what they're saying? They were so wrong Go look at their takes. Go look at the Colin Cowherd take this offseason. Seahawks will be, they'll be the bottom of the division. They'll be competing with Texans. They'll be competing with the Texans. What are we talking about here? It's like my former marriage. It's like they've been divorced from Russell, and now they're just going to go stew and cry like I did in my mind. What do they think they're going to do? Now Colin's like, Hawks have no chance. Why do they think they got a chance? They shouldn't even be in the playoffs. Shut the hell up. You ain't earned the right to talk about this at this point. You can talk, but you're wrong. You're wrong before. You've been wrong many times. Wrong about Russ. That's the thing about these guys too, is that it's like you can connect a cognitive tissue between their predictions about the Seahawks team, their predictions about Russ turning the Broncos into a Super Bowl winner. These same people, you can backtrack all of their thought processes to that same type of thing. Not all of them. I don't like the broad brush, but a lot of the national pundits especially. We got to keep the faith, Roxanne. We got to keep the faith. We got house money. We got a team that's going to be loose, free, and easy. We got a young team that doesn't know any better. They don't know they're supposed to be nervous. They don't know that this isn't something that happens every year. They're just in there like, let's go. I like our chances, Roxanne. I like our chances, and it ain't blind. And like it, in my backing, that same knocking here, that's the thing about this. That same knocking that I get to take, those hits that I get to take, those swings that I get to take at those national pundits who were wrong multiple times over on multiple items having to do with our Hawks, having to do with Russell Wilson. While they were on that wrong point of it, I just said this offseason through the spring thing and said, hey, we got this chance to be better than this. We got this chance towards the playoffs. And even at that time, I wasn't saying we got a pathway to winning the division. I said, no, but we got a pathway to the playoffs. We're not league worst. We're not Texans. And that's proven to be true. So when I said that then, and I was honest about that then, I'm being honest with you right now. We got an absolute chance to be in this game. We are in this sucker. And that Niner team and that Niner faithful and all those Niner pundits can all talk there and oh, we're going to walk through this. Yeah, you keep talking. You keep talking. So no matter what happens in this game, I'm going to come out of it with a smile. But if I come out of this with a W, I may get really Seahawks toxic as far as the shit talking going down with the Niners at that point. It may go next level after that game, after what I'm hearing this week. After all the big talk. After all that big talk this week, you best deliver. Because if you don't, I'm going to light up the flame torch. I'm going to turn. It's coming out. Because they were all so sure of themselves. Helps to have a little bit of a humbleness coming into this thing, have a little bit of a respect for the process on this just a little bit. But we'll see. I like our chances though, Roxanne, and I like to hear that you're with me on this one. Thank you for the donation though. Appreciate you. Right in the cut with another $5 donation. Thank you, Rain in the cut. You are awesome as well, brother. Appreciate you. Brock is about to see what this rivalry is really about. Oh yeah, he's been a regular season, He's had a couple of, weaker opponents to kind of beat up on. He's feeling good about it. They're asking him, Brock, is the NFL easier, Brock? Is the NFL easier for you? Well, yeah, it just kind of is. It just, I'm just back here throwing pills all over the field. What do you do? You just can't stop me, really, if you think about it. Okay. Pride goeth before the fall, they say. Pride goeth before the fall, and I'm feeling a lot of red pride coming up out of that Northern California territory. A lot of extra red pride for a team that hasn't won a Super Bowl in 30 years now, or 34 years. I've lost track, to be honest with you. MJ Seahawk with a $10 donation, and Rain in the Cut, thank you for that $5 donation. Brock is about to find that playoff football is absolutely about to be a whole nother game. It's a whole nother game out here now. MJ Seahawk with a $10 dono. Thank you, MJ. And again, thank you for becoming a member again on the channel. Appreciate you. Says, kill the Mac. Put Purdy on his back. Go Hawks. Gotta kill up the Mac. Kill up the Mac. It's time to kill him. Sorry. Gotta do it. And yeah, put Purdy on his back. Hit him. Get that stack fronts up in his face. Make him feel like he's got 15 guys up on the line of scrimmage. What, do they got extra guys here? They're just not worried about your arm. That's all that is. They're just not worried about your arm. Stack it up. Give me a casino blitz in this game. I want a casino. Let it ride. Hey, dealer, let it ride. And yeah, let's go. Put him down. Put down McCaffrey first. Put down the calf. Okay. We got to put down the calf. And then Purdy on his back, man. It's a double 1-2 punch, MJ Seahawk. I'm with you on it. Let's go. Go Hawks, brother. Go Hawks. Garth Knight with a $5 donation. Thank you, Garth. Says, if I had a Darth Maul laser sword, I'd only use it to get to and from my car. Granted, this type of defense is only necessarily in Australia. Garth, you know you'd be using that thing to like slice your cheese. Like we're all boys at the end of the day. Like we get a toy like that and we're gonna be like, what if it could cut through this? Cool. You know how satisfying it'd be to be slicing stuff with that? Just cleanly going through things perfectly. Oh, you'd probably not get anything done if I had one of those things. I'd just be sitting there just as I made the noise with my mouth when I was doing it too. Thank you though, Garth. Darth Maul laser sword. I'm now having a need for this more than I ever thought I was going to need to now that I'm thinking about this. Randall with a $5 donation. Thank you, Randall. I said the pressure is 100% on the Niners. Playoffs a whole new season. Funny things happen in the playoffs. Well, Randall's a man like me who's seen many, many, many playoff games in his life, who's seen many of these things go in a variety of ways, odd ways, hard to predict kind of ways. And things are easy to predict from the outset out here a couple days from the games. But once the games arrive, and especially, Randall, to me, it's already naturally that way in the playoffs anyway. You add on the fact that you have two teams that are coming together that are division matchup teams that have already played each other twice. And then you bring in the fact that you've got these like monsoon-like conditions coming in as this third factor. If that's not leveling the playing field, I don't know what does, regardless of talent. If this is just a team that's a Niner team taking on an NFC East team that they didn't even play this year, that had our record, that barely got it, Washington, for instance, well, then you can maybe get me on board with, okay, they've got a huge up advantage on this team with that. But, and especially if it was like a sunny San Francisco-like day that they normally get. But that's not what we're going to be having. You know? It's going to be a little bit more mucked up. It's going to be a little bit more leveled out, I think, Randall. As you say, funny things happen in the playoffs. They do indeed. And yeah, the pressure's on them. Niners lose this game. Think about it again, folks. Niners lose this game. What do they do at quarterback? Garoppolo's a free agent. You got Purdy. You got Lance. You're just going to run with that? You're going to trust that that's good enough? Especially what happens if Purdy fails out this point? What if he falls off in this game? What if he suddenly comes back down to earth? What if then I start thinking about that maybe a little bit? Maybe that's in some of the thoughts of the coaches and stuff as they go through this game, especially if the game goes tight, especially as the game goes longer, being the tighter it goes longer. If we get in the fourth quarter and we're down by a score, who's the pressure on? Is it on the Hawks or is it on the Niners in that moment? Holy crap, this Hawks team is with us in this fourth quarter and we haven't put them away yet? I mean, we're one bad bounce away here at this. Yes. Yeah, you are. Absolutely, you are. Yeah. So I like it, Randall. Pressure's absolutely on them, man. 100%. Taker610 with a $2 donation says, Anthony Richardson is this year's Trey Lance. He's becoming that, isn't he, Taker? I was wondering how in the name of all that is good and mighty, he would slide his way into the first round of this draft, being that, you know, he doesn't have even that dominant year of Trey Lance that he had, that was, you know, what he had, 43 touchdowns, no interceptions in the final year of college he had played was the case with Trey. With Anthony, you don't have stats anywhere close to that, and he does look far away. But indeed, he seems to be a guy that if you're talking about, you know, rising with a bullet, it's Anthony Richardson in this upcoming draft. And I've heard there be talk out there that he might even go in the top 10, which is just kind of insane to me a little bit. You know, look at Lamar Jackson, who wins the Heisman Trophy, has 2 awesome years level of production in college, who, you know, then goes in and he's the last pick in the first round, versus Richardson, who has none of that kind of pedigree, who's got a lot of holes and all that. And maybe Anthony's is a better thrower of the football, I guess, is the thing you would say with that. But strange to me that he's going to rise that far. But I think you're onto something, Taker. I think he's definitely rising, and he might eventually get up into that top 10, if not maybe even higher when this is all said and done. Adrian next with a $2 donation. Thank you, Adrian. Media down talks us, but when we win, they talk golf. And that's not like Jared Goff. That's golf. Sorry. He turned golf into golf. Yeah, they do. As you know, it's a common thing I say on this channel a lot. Like, we're out here, as far as a lot of people are concerned on the East Coast, they look at us as being out here in Southern Alaska, or those in the South, you know, that they think, well, they're about like 50 miles away from Alaska, right? Like, and then they're showing a map like, oh, they're that far. Oh my gosh, I thought they were right next. I thought they could see each other. I think you could stand on the coast of Washington and see Alaska. I feel like that's kind of what they think. And so we're forgotten about. We're the underdog. But that's part of the success of this year. Nobody thought anything about us. Nobody thought it's a rallying cry for Coach Carroll. It should be a rallying cry for him in this game. Nobody thinks you guys should be here. Everybody's saying you haven't deserved this. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that? Everybody out there nationally is telling you, you ain't got any chance in this game. How you feel about that? That strike you guys as right? That strike you guys as true? You're going to deserve to be on this field this next Saturday? You're going to earn your right out there? You can go out there and shrink away? You can let these people tell you all this stuff that means nothing once the ball starts to be thrown and hammered and run? No. No. We're going to let loose. You're going to show these national people what we're about. You're going to show them Seahawk football. You're going to show them why we won 9 games this year. You're going to show them why that San Francisco team's going to get ever nervous the longer this game goes along, the longer this game remains tight. Let's go, Adrian X. Let's go. David Pugh with a $2 donation. Thank you, David. He says, hashtag get Shanahan canned. Go Hawks, ladies and gents. You might hear some calls for that too. If they lose this game, tell me I'm lying, Niner fans. You lose this game, will there not be a huge part of your contingent out there going, oh, see, Shanahan's not the right guy. You got to move on from Shanahan. You got to move on from Lance. We got to go make a big swing at quarterback with Tom Brady. Well, pressure. We lose this game, up on to next year. Tell me that doesn't have some kind of effect to some degree. I can't operate as good as San Francisco's playing. They're playing great. As them playing at the best football there this time of year when you want to be? Yes, they are. Are they as healthy as you could ask to be at this time of year? Yes, they are. All those things are true. But at the same time, the pressure is vastly, from a huge standpoint, in one side of this versus the other. And that's going to affect things. Not maybe be the decider on things, but it will affect things. Mumbles with another $5 donation. Thank you for the double dono, Mumbles. Hope you're having a good night, brother. Says, damn, Saints are going to destroy the Seahawks. They just won the Super Bowl last year. Seahawks don't even have a chance, don't even have a winning record. Huh? Deja vu. Weird feeling. It is a weird feeling. That's why I said this game and getting to the playoffs and this season, it's all been kind of echoes of other things, right? It's like echoes. It's a rock dropping in a pond and the echoes of the not the waves, but how it patterns away. And it's like you're seeing, to me, the echoes right now. And that's why I wanted to lead this off with how we could win this game, because I'm hearing the same echoes of what I heard this offseason about this team having no chance, about this team being dead and buried. And yes, in this playoff game, I'm hearing the same echoes of what I once heard about that New Orleans Saints game some 10 years ago, where you had a Seahawks team coming into that game at 7-9, playing a home playoff game that everyone, there's no chance that this former world champion, not just a former world champion, but in a Saints team, an explosive offense, an unstoppable offense. Does that sound familiar to you folks? Does that sound familiar? An offense you can't even hold back. You just hope to contain. Sounds kind of familiar to what we're going to here this upcoming week, right? And that Seahawks team that played, that was not a team that was filled with a lot of players. That was Carolyn Schneider turning the roster over at that time in a big way, in a huge way. And yeah, you had Marshawn. Didn't have a lot of receiver, didn't have a lot. John Carlson at tight end, an offensive line that was not the best. Not the best. I think you were in the 20s, both offensively and defensively, in that year that you played the Saints in the playoffs. At least your offense this year has been kind of close to about a top 10 offense, hasn't it? So you're bringing a little bit of a stronger team and a stronger attack in that respect of things, Mumbles. I love it, man. Right on point with it. Right on point. Barry Teplin says, Brandon, how do you see the rain and wind affecting this game? I think that, I think it is a little bit of an advantage to us, at least as far as passers go. I don't think Brock Purdy's got the arm strength of Geno Smith. I think Geno can put balls in he can throw a little bit through the elements a little bit better than Purdy. I'm not saying like it's a huge advantage, but there is a bit of an advantage on that side of things. I think the rain and the wind essentially muck the game up and dirty it down. They make the play calling a little more predictable, and that there's just a higher propensity and more runs being run because teams don't trust their ability to be able to throw the football. It's just the guys can get separation on routes, right? Because you get up to the stem of your route, you try to make a cut, and you're slipping out of it. You're not going to be able to get any separation there, and so the quarterback's just going to be less apt to kind of throw that ball. So it means probably way more rushes of the football, and that means a shorter game, less possessions. It means it's going to be a closer game because of that, and a closer game for us, Barry, I think is going to benefit a road team over a home team. So in some general ways, it's to our benefit. I'm not saying it's I think it's kind of more of a leveling of the field than it is like, well, this gives us this big advantage coming into this game. Just levels the playing field to me. It takes a little bit of their built-in advantage and maybe just puts it down just a little bit there. Just a little bit. Jao Farah says, I think we'll go out like the Lions. We'll do just fine. Me too, man. Elena, Taylor against McGlinchey. That's our matchup. Well, wait. Yep, that's right. That's the matchup because he comes from that left side. Cool Breeze, I love Jesse's channel, but on there the other day, and he thinks they are a shoo-in for the Super Bowl. Laughing out loud, and he thinks the Hawks have 0 chance Saturday. Can't wait for a close game. Yeah, that's the confidence I'm talking about in their fan base that they're rolling with right now, where it's, well, we're just going to get in. And so, I mean, look, we got this easy pathway, and it's like, no doubt, like both of the 2 Super Bowl seasons that we got in 13 and 14, with the team that we had, with the team with the Legion of Boom, right? I did not have that same confidence. I was nervous all the way through. I was nervous in the first playoff game against the Saints in 2013. So the fact that they've got this bestowed confidence they're rolling with, I kind of like it, actually. I kind of like it. You know, okay. It's right about when you reach that spot. I can attest this as a guy does this chat. Like, it's right about when you reach that spot, you know, that your team, when you start getting a little bit too big for the britches, where you fall over and football will humble you. Be like, oh, you just no doubt are going to get in? You just think it's just goes without saying? Okay. Rob, what's up, man? Just checking in, and Megan putting in work. Megan's putting in work. It's good to see. How you doing, brother? Hope you're doing well out there. Travis 303 says, hi all. I missed the last couple of streams and won't be here too long. Just wanted to say congrats to the Seahawks for making the playoffs. Thank you, Travis. You have a good night, man. Joseph says, keep the 49ers offense off the field. That's the way, man. Just manufacture those drives. That's all we got to do. Just keep matriculating that ball up the football field. Gene D, all the pressure's on Shanahan, man. Scamahan. I like Gene's nickname for Shanahan, which is Scamahan. It's all on Scamahan, man. Pressure's all on him. Tommy says Walker's going to have an advantage with the weather and his quickness. Offensive players know where they are going. Very well could be, yeah. I remember a game a couple of years ago. Shady McCoy running for I think it was I can't remember if he was at the Bills at the time or if he was still with the Eagles, but they were in that snow game. And he just went off for like 230 yards because he could do his little juke move, right? His little open field juke move, and he was losing guys right and left. Like they just couldn't stay with him. Wouldn't that be awesome? Like Walker's out there running around like it's not affecting him. He's just running around people all day, and there's nothing the Niners can really do. Of course, then they have McCaffrey on their side, so he's probably doing the same thing to us at that point. P. Carroll's Drip says, I feel like the special teams can come up big against the Niners. That was my key number 0.6 of my 9 points on how we can win this game. And I think I agree with you. That is a true part of how this can help us win in every aspect, right? Every aspect, both in how you kick, how you punt, how you defend against the punt returns and the kick returns. And then especially as you do on your kick returns with Ooga Boogie. You know, Robert, I hope we bring the right cleats too, man. I think the benefit on this one is that at least you don't have a situation like the Panthers game a couple of years ago in the playoffs, where the Panthers, that field had gotten like torn up, I think, because a lot of the high school events had gone on there. And so the Panthers had the kind of knowledge of what the right cleats are that they need to have for that surface at that time. And the Hawks didn't, and spent like the first half trying to figure it out. You had your guys just slipping all over the field. I hope they do too, man. Yeah, Eric's in a massive ground attack from both teams. No doubt about it. P. Carroll says, I actually think that it's crucial. Geno's going to have to run for it for first and use his feet as a runner. That is the Niners' weakness, in my opinion. You're right. Niners have had problems at times with mobile quarterbacks. And that was a place, look, on the last game with Geno, second play of the game, he's rolling out to his right, he has a moment of committing, the quarterback sin of throwing back across his body late to the middle of the field. And it goes right into a Niners defender's hands, linebacker, and he barely drops it. That's a play where he had 8 or 9 yards to go get with his legs. In this past game, he ran for 50 yards, and he was able to help manufacture that in this last game against the Rams. Agree with you 100%. That's a place where Geno's got to lean into where if he can get it with his legs in this game, go get it with your legs. If there's an opening like that, don't look to force things. Take the 7-8 yards, get what you can get with it, but absolutely lean into your legs. That's been a big part of him when he's leaned into it and willing to do it. But there's been moments that'll have like Russ would have where it's like he gets so locked into being a passer, he just won't become his runner as quickly as you sometimes would like. Big Country says, yeah, we need to open the floodgates for this game. Nobody expects us to win, so we might as well throw everything at them. I agree. Why not? I'm not going to knock this team. If they come out and they do a couple trick plays or they try to do a few fake or they try to go a little, I'm not going to knock them for that. This is a game where you got to manufacture some things, and that's the way you do that. So I think that we've got to applaud them if they decide to be aggressive in this game in that way, and I hope they are. Elena, Homer's faster than Walker on his first burst. Maybe with a healthy Walker. I don't know. I got to go back, Elena, and look at their 10-yard splits coming out of college. I think Walker's got him a little bit. Homer's fast. Homer's quick. Consumer Andor was next level for Star Wars. Yeah, that's the one I'll probably eventually give a try to when I eventually get over my bitterness for them making me watch Luke drink blue titty milk. You know, I'll eventually get over that one, I guess, or throwing away the saber, or, you know, being a dick, which they made him out to be now. Gene D says we need to blitz like other people have mentioned. Absolutely, man. Aggressiveness. Be aggressive. The past master, if Greenlaw and Jimmy Ward are okay, then with Bosa, Warner, and crew, I'm just not so sure. Hot take, I like Geno better for Seattle than he who shall not be named. Keep up the great work. Thank you, past masters. We're up against it this week. It ain't going to be easy. It ain't going to be easy. No one ever said it's going to be easy to get into Super Bowl, but I think we got a chance. Garth Knight with the $10 donation. Thank you, Garth. I really do appreciate it. Says, I want to see the Iowa kid Purdy react to Lady Gaga in a suit and Tony Bennett in a dress sing the national anthem. Tony Bennett in a dress. Oh my God. Nobody's trying to see that. His wang will be confused and he'll be off schedule of all game. A confused wang does throw off a young quarterback, Garth. This is a known thing. There's the story of the great. I'm trying to reference there's so many stories of so many ball clubs sending ladies of the night to a room so they can get a young quarterback thrown off. Hey, whatever it takes, Garth, man. Whatever it takes. Tony Bennett in a dress. Oh, Lord. There's an image for you. Darth Soldier with a $5 dono. Thank you, Darth. Says the Seahawks beat the 49ers by playing better than the 49ers. Simple. Well, I mean, that's, you can definitely derive things down to a simple way. I mean, you know, Darth, you could say the Seahawks beat the 49ers if they score more points, right? Yeah, it's a true way of putting it. Yeah. Does that tell the whole tale of a game or tell the whole tale of how a game has got to play out for that to happen? Not necessarily. And, you know, look, there's times, Darth, where I would argue that it's not necessarily a truism. I mean, there's times that I've seen teams at times, I could probably even reference games this year where there's teams that play better than other teams, but then a couple of bad mistakes end up being the thing that causes them to lose the game. So I don't think by just merely playing better, that's an equivalency to winning. It helps. Oftentimes the team that is playing better is the team that is going to win, but I don't think it's a certainty in that respect of things. And I do appreciate the donation on it. I don't think it's a certainty. I've seen a lot of games where teams have been outplayed and a bad moment or two happens, a bad break or two happens, a bad call or two happens, and it upends things a little bit. And again, I would say the majority of what you're saying, the majority of the time it is a truism. But we're trying to break things down a little bit on a deeper level here than just keeping things well, we win. And if we lose, we lose. Yeah, it's true. True. Appreciate the donation. AZ Sports Fan with a $2 donation. Thank you very much as well. Says, let's get you in the NFC West network. Check Twitter. All right, man. I'll check it out, brother. Thank you for the donation. I always am pretty good about responding on my Twitter over there on DM. So I'll check it out, man. For sure. I'm possibly open to it on that. So absolutely. Thank you, AZ Sports Fan. Appreciate each other donation. Ox98 says, what reaction would you have if Sean Payton with Fangio went to the Cards or Rams, if any reaction at all? I would have reaction. There's not a lot of great coaching hires out there that exist. And so having to watch within our division that's already been tremendously competitive, that's already had, at the very least, 3 of the better coaches probably in the entire NFL going on the last few years, I would be a little bit forlorn if we had to have Sean Payton come into the division with either of those two teams. It would also be like, kind of for me, Hawks 9-8, I'd be going, well, more of the same, right? It's not getting any easier, right? And it's why I say with our NFC West, compared to other divisions that are out there, that always seem to have the poor teams at the bottom, this year's been a little bit of a dip. But the one thing the NFC West does from the first team to the fourth team is everybody's always usually trying to go for it. Everybody's going to spend all their money. Everybody's going to be willing to do aggressive trades and trade first rounder for players to put them up over the top. It's a thing where you really see a higher amount of aggression on these teams out in the West than you see from some of the other franchises, I think, out there. And that just tends to make it a more competitive division. But Sean Payton would be a problem. Elena McCollum, who's covering Kittle and Ayuk? Well, it's probably a combination of Tariq and they're going to move Ayuk all over the place a little bit. As far as who's covering Kittle, I don't know, man. You're going to probably have at times Abram on him. You're going to have Tease Tabor in there at times. They're going to try to switch him in and out. Tabor's actually pretty good in coverage. So if you get him into passing situations, you'd probably bring him out for those moments. But it's going to take a team effort for those guys. Michael IT, for the people who were wondering why Diggs pointed the ball to Wagner during the INT, it's because I heard Wagner was feeling himself a little bit too much and Diggs just had to humble him. That makes sense. It was all fun. I didn't take too much of it. I thought it was hilarious. Boo Dog wants an RPO with Locke, Walker, and DJ. There you go. Yeah, no one can cover Kittle. Yeah, no, we don't do political talk. Nope. Jay and Outdoors. Pass rush needs to come through and pressure Purdy, get him off tempo, and force some throws. Yep, you can't let him sit comfortably back there like you did in the first matchup. I agree on that one. That's a big key with it. Passmaster says if the 49ers are healthy for this game, then it's going to be extremely tough to win. However, I think Geno is a heck of a lot better for the organization than who should not be nommed. It'll be a tough one, man. But we got a shot, man. We got ourselves a chance. Dr. Rish, so the Seahawks are going to be in Glendale on February 12th? Yeah, that's right. You can get your tickets now. Absolutely get non-refundable tickets for that. Non-refundable hotel stays. It's a 100% certainty. G&D, please throw on first down to open some running lanes and then attack those scrubs called the Niners. Do it. Pandalorian, Rogue One wasn't bad. It was a movie. Why does this movie exist? Yeah, I was a little like, wait, is this need to? Do I need this story for the Star Wars universe? Do I need this one? But it was good quality. It was better than some of the other stuff that's come out. Megan says, I do indeed. The Maul saber with blue and green 36 inches blades and my Sith saber brought back from Disneyland, which was nearly lost in the plane coming back from Seattle. That's because one of those workers probably tried to jack that, Megan. That's what that was. They tried to yank that thing. They're like, ooh, yeah, this is worth my job. This is worth potentially losing my job. There's a reason why a 49ers fan is called Brittle Kittle. Brittle. I hadn't heard that nickname. Brittle Kittle. I guess it's good. Oh, that's good. Kevin says Andor was amazing. I'm going to check out Andor. I'm going to give it back and try to go back in there. And I did like what they did with the Luke thing on The Mandalorian with the moment that he had coming in on that. I thought that was pretty well done. So they've done some things, I guess, to back it up a little bit. But my God, that new trilogy was that was absolutely awful. It was just awful. Going to the dog park, so there's nothing to lose, really. Go for it on fourth downs. Take risks, man. Let it loose. Let it all hang out, as I say, right? Go into the dog park. You got nothing to lose. You got nothing to lose, then why not? We know this will go. Quarterbacks will fly up the draft board pre-draft. I can see first 3 picks being quarterbacks. Seattle's going to get a great player on a ton of picks for trading down. Agreed, man. Agreed. I've been saying the same thing for quite a while, that it's going to go like that. Megan says, I am yet to see Andor, but love me some Grogu B. Yeah, I like that they did the Mandalorian and some of the stuff. I didn't have a chance to check the full Mando out yet, but I will check out Andor. I will eventually probably. I'm hearing enough good things about that I can't deny it's probably pretty good. I got to put my anger for Star Wars aside for a second to watch it. Michael C. says, Gino ran for first down and fumbled week 15, and we only lost by one score. Of course we'll win. Of course. Love it. Love it. Garth Knight with a $5 dono says, in my mind, the Niners still play at Candlestick Park. Liberace, rest in peace. Should be tickling the ivories for the national anthem. Thank you for the $5 donation, Garth. They just go all in. Lay Gaga, pull out Liberace's corpse. Stand him up. Maybe they do one of those like they did with Tupac, Garth, where they bring out Liberace and have him do the 3D thing, where he's out there, what is it? The virtual reality Liberace. I still like Candlestick Park too. I still maintain, Garth. I hate the way the new stadiums don't have the same poetic names of the past. Riverfront Park, Candlestick, Fenway, Wrigley Field, Arrowhead. I mean, that's a stadium name. You know what I mean? Lumen. Yeah. Like, come on. That doesn't inspire fear in your opponents. Hey, we're going to Lumen. Like the light? Yeah, like the light. Okay. We'll do okay there. Should be like, the Hawks Fangs or some stadium. Thank you, Garth. Appreciate you, brother, for the donos, though. You're awesome. Andrew Stetson says, has Carroll lost to anyone 3 times in a row? No. But I will say, I don't think that they've been in a position a lot of times to play a team 3 times in a given season either. So you got the Niners back in 2013. That might have been the only other time you've played the team 3 times in a given season. So we'd have a lot to pull off of with that necessarily. Logan says, let's be real. The pressure isn't on the Niners, it's on us. Everyone loves a good underdog story. My kid always has been underdogs and has always fallen short. This makes more pressure for us. I don't know, Logan, that's the first time I've ever heard about that as reference to the underdog. The underdog's got a tougher pathway to win, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's got more pressure upon him. And I think every underdog is not built the same way. And an underdog like us that's coming into this game where it's already viewed magnanimously, not just locally within the Pacific Northwest, but nationally as a whole, that this has been a successful season no matter what happens this upcoming game, that removes the pressure off. There is no pressure on this team right now, Logan. None at all. There really isn't. I think the die is cast, the story is written of 2022 right now, regardless of what happens on this game, past you winning this game and continuing it forward. So, no, it's on the Niners, man. They're in their window. They're in this. If they lose, oh my God, are changes coming? What are we going to do about quarterback? There's going to be a lot of freakouts that happen if they lose this game, Logan. There's not going to be any freaking out anywhere in Seahawk land if we lose this. That's the key difference here. AZ Sports Fans says this man needs to be on the NFC West Network. We doing a fan v fan soon. 49ers versus Seahawks. Thoughts? It's going to be a close game, man. I think as I led at the top, AZ Sports Fan, we got to do about 8 things right to get this win, but they aren't things that are necessarily huge major things, just small little things that all will work in combination of each other to get this win. Certainly the game, we're behind the ball here, but look, it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a season. You've got the cyclone-like conditions, monsoon conditions going on the field. I think all of those things will level the playing field. Look, AZ Sports Fan, to the first game of the year for the Niners when they played the Chicago Bears on the road in similar conditions. Did that not level a playing field between 2 teams that have a very diametric difference in talent? It certainly did. Now, is this a Niner team that's maybe a little healthier even now than they were then? Maybe a little bit. They're different at quarterback. So, yeah, I think it's going to level the field. It's going to be a close game. I think it comes down to the fourth quarter in a single possession one way or another. But I think my Hawks absolutely have a chance in it. And I'll take a look at that Twitter and see what's up with that and see if I can, if I'd be interested on that. I promise I will check that out. Pete will be coaching into his 80s. You better believe it. Kick Scooter Pete is the best, D-Nugget. Kick Scooter Pete is the best. It's the best version of Pete is when he's on a scooter. Alexander Matthews, rain, Brandon, it's been raining nonstop for almost a month here in Northern California. It's every single day. Town's becoming an island. It's crazy. Well, you know, they've been telling you guys for years that you're going to fall off into the ocean. And y'all thought that it was going to be that you broke off and fell into the ocean. But instead, what you're finding is the oceans are just going to rise to you. And it might happen just over the course of one winter. You never know. But I welcome the rain. We in Seattle welcome this rain. You know, we love the rain. You know, we're like Bane and Batman, you know, where Batman's throwing stuff and he's like, you know, you learn to deal with the dark. I was born in it. You know, that's us with the rain, right? We'll be out in that rain. Those players will be totally used to it. They just played in it last week. You know, Niner players will be like, it's really wet. It's really, really wet. Ugh, I don't like it. And my jersey's all. That'll be the Niners on the sideline this week. You know, our guys will just be sitting there just like ready to go, hungry, like. Niners will be over there. Give me a towel. Give me a towel. Give me a towel. That's how I see it. I mean, that's just in my mind. That's how I see it. Oh, Byron D with a $5 donation. Thank you, Byron D. I really do appreciate it. Says, let's say the top prospects of positions of our needs aren't available. I wouldn't mind drafting Noah Sewell, defensive tackle Saiki Ika, and center Steve Avila. Well, thank you for the $5 donation. I really do appreciate it, Byron. I have looked at two of those guys. In the case of Nolan Sewell, Byron, you're going to have to give me a little bit of a game to go look at to get the feel of Noah Sewell. And what I mean by that is I need to know what is the game I got to go watch of to say, here's a vintage Noah Sewell performance. Here's where he's flashing a pro set of skills and really popping off the tape. I don't mean by, I apply this like I do with Drew Sanders. I don't mean by the highlight film that you can kind of construct of the guy, but actually what do I see on him on a game tape where I can put a full game together of going, wow, he played a really good game. He showed you why he should be a second round prospect as some people are proposing he should be. I just didn't really see it, Byron. He's got the size, he's got the movement capabilities, but the instincts aren't there. The tackling isn't there. The ability to get off blocks isn't there. The zone drops in coverage isn't really there. I see a lot of holes in that particular guy's game myself. I didn't have a chance to take a look at yet Steve Avila, so I've got to still take a look at him and see what I think with him. He's on my list, though, of guys to look at the center position. Saiki Ika is an interesting guy. Certainly one of the better zero techs in this draft and certainly a position of need for your Seahawks. Where should he go is the question. And I don't know that he's better than the kid that came out of UConn last year that went in the third round. I think that kid was probably better than Saika is. So he is probably more to me of a guy that should be going probably later trenches of the third round, maybe even early fourth, rather than where, again, like Noah Sewell, Byron D, a lot of people are putting those two guys up in the second round. And I think that that's a little bit too high for both guys. They neither have shown quite enough on college tape to really necessitate that. Ika has 4 sacks this year, but every year prior that he's played in college football, he's got nothing. So you might be very well be getting a guy that's just a run-stuffing, zero tech. Do I want to take that in the second round? Even in the third round, I'm a little like, well, it's kind of a one-trick pony for the third round even, isn't it? Kind of. But he's very talented. He's legitimately big. He's immovable. I like him better than Sewell as a prospect. I will say that. Thank you for the donation, though. Appreciate you. MJ Seahawk with a $5 dono. Appreciate you too, man. Thank you so much. Says, great year. Great trade. Great experience for the kids. Keep on flying, Hawks. Hey, keep on flying. And that's right. It's a great year, great trade, great draft picks on the horizon, great amount of spending salary capital that we will have to spend this offseason. It's a beautiful, beautiful time to be a Seahawk fan. And as I've said, and I will echo through probably onto the broadcast here this next Saturday, you are in as close to a utopian-like state as you can get as a fan in NFL football. You are 10 years removed from having a Super Bowl. So you do have a Super Bowl. You have been to a couple. You also now are on the rise and have 4 picks through the first 2 rounds, a top 5 pick. You're in the playoffs. You've got a young team that is on the rise and ready to go. Just short of raising a Lombardi. And like I said, I don't know if it gets much better than this. I really don't. Garth with another $5 donation. Garth, thank you so much. Brando, trash talking as they do, these Niner fans do appreciate the orange cat. We all must meet in the middle somewhere. She brings worlds together. She really does, Garth. I mean, it's not to be denied. When you have a cutie like this with all the love. Look at that love she's got. I mean, just look at this. Yeah. She even does little cute little cries and like, meow. You got that, like, you can't deny it. Even Niner fans have to give in a little bit. Plus, she does kind of have Niner colors a little bit. It kind of gets close. It's too close to a shade of red for them to be angry at it, They just gotta go, okay, she is pretty cute, The great equalizer, Garth. I just need to bring her on the field then this next week, have her run her past this Niner sideline, look for the ball. Joshua Marlaz, thank you for the $2 donation. I appreciate you as well, brother. Thank you so much. Says, Drew Lock will be our future Geno, and we keep building. I think there's a lot of options on the table here, Joshua, and I don't think that the front office has necessarily decided which one they're going to choose. I think their first option is to come back to Geno and see if they can find a contract that works with Geno moving forward. And I think that if he's going to ask for too much, or they decide not to franchise him and even just let the open market decide on Geno, that very likely means Geno's going to probably be gone. If you don't apply the franchise tag, some team will pay more than the Hawks are willing to spend. And if that occurs, then Joshua, then yeah, I would indeed think that the backup plan would then to be bring in Drew Lock and then go and look at the draft and finding your quarterback for the future in the draft, and essentially give Drew Lock the same deal that you gave Geno Smith this past year, a 1 year, $3-4 million deal with some incentives in it. So that's the backup plan, Joshua. But I do believe that the team at the forefront of this is going to be willing to bring back Geno. The price has to be right, though. It's got to make sense for both team and Geno, not just Geno, who goes, well, I've never been paid and I want to this is my one chance to bite the apple. I'm going to bite. I'm going to take the whole thing in my mouth. That's not what Seattle's going to be wanting to do here. And that's going to be the key on that deal of whether or not they're actually able to get him to sign or not. Elena, I agree. Geno needs to run more in this game. Get them where they've got to be worried about it, because that pass rush will bail, go full on. The reason that they struggle against mobile pass rushers or against mobile quarterbacks is the Niners are so committed in their pass rush. They've got the wide 9 technique. They want those guys running like a bat out of hell in the pass rush. And so what that does is it leads those guys to getting upfield, but now you're leaving pass rush lanes open. And if you got a quarterback like Geno who's able to step up into the pocket, there will at times be then some free yards up in front of him to go and get if he's willing to go and take it. Steve Tipton says, Niner fan here. Good luck, y'all. Good luck to you too, Steven. I mean, yeah, pretty good luck to you guys. You guys had a good year, and there's a lot you guys have going right about your organization. You have a lot to feel rightfully proud about in how you played this year. Greg, what if the first 4 picks of the draft are quarterbacks? What if the Bears and Cardinals both trade back up out of the top 5 to quarterback needy teams? Well, then I think we're probably going Will Anderson, we're going Will Anderson at that point, probably. I would imagine it would be Will if it played out like that. I don't think we would trade down. I think your question is really, do we trade down at that point, Greg? I don't think so. No, I think you're riding at that point. Fahad Naeem says, sources, Broncos interview former Stanford coach. Oh, okay. Well, that tells me they're on that right path of thinking that they've got to bring in a guy that's just going to run an old school style offense, right? That Stanford offense wasn't the new tricky style of offense. They were running pro style stuff and just we're going to hammer it on you. We're going to lean on this running game, which is the pathway forward for the Broncos organization. And I always thought, the thing with Peyton going there, I was like, really? Even Harbaugh, like those guys really want to go there? That's the spot. Kind of felt more like a flirtation on their part than like they were really going to go there. Mr. Biggie says, y'all don't have no run game? Really? We got a 1,000-yard runner who didn't even start all of the games this year. How do you figure that? Logan, Carroll is too much of a hothead, to be honest. You need to have a cool head through these playoffs. Let's go Hawks. Hothead? Okay. I don't know if I've ever heard him described as a hothead. Francisco Paco Paredes. It's going to be a close, ugly game in the rain. It is, Francisco. A beautiful, ugly game. A beautiful, ugly, rainy game. A beautiful, ugly, muddy, rainy game. Tommy says, we didn't have any business being in the game in 2019 either. Came down to the 1-yard line. I think the 49ers are a bit too overconfident, personally. I'm getting that feeling too, Tommy. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I'm over here on Wednesday going, really? Really? You guys are going to talk this big? Really? Oh, you guys could backstroke your way to the Super Bowl? We're going to talk like that? Okay. Erickson, shout out to Jason Myers, is right. He's right. New phone, who dis? Seahawks own the Niners by 11 games and the only NFC championship they ever played each other in. No matter thus, clowns so triggered by the Hawks. Seahawks own the clowns. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we played them well. And Coach Carroll has played Shanahan teams pretty well over the last few years. I'm not saying he's got them figured out, but I know this year they've got us 2-0, but it's not like that's been the full track record the last couple of seasons. I know they'd say, well, that was because you had Russell Wilson. We can't be Russell. Maybe we'll see. Big Country Mix is a year of 2000. This year is a mix of 2010-12. That's about right. Cam Wong, Physio says top run teams versus bottom run teams. Yes, definitely it evens out. It does. It does. Trash talk's going on in the chat. I love it. Oh, let's go. Let's go, Niner fans. Come on. We ready over here. You're going to find us aptly ready over here. We ain't scared of you. We ain't scared of your team. Get ready this Saturday. Get ready. You come on back into my chat. We ain't scared of you. You ain't boat racing nothing. Seafair was 4 months ago. No hydroplanes, none of that. This thing's going to come down the wire. You're going to feel yourself in that fourth quarter. Just, God, one score a game. How are they this close to us? We should have been so much further ahead. Turbo Duran says, hello, Seahawk fans. Hope Gino has magic this weekend. I'm rooting for your team. Good luck. Beat that quarterback, Purdy. Bye. Bet. We're on it. We're going to do it. Kitty's on the case already with it. Let's go. Rob Terrell, no pressure on the Hawks this year because this was a rebuild year. That's right. No pressure. None. Zip. Brian Ball, the Niners' nightmare is Pete Carroll. They see him in his sleep. They will after this game. KT, last game, Gino had the look of fear with the Niners pass rush. Gino's spooked and won't be the same. Nope. You became one-dimensional as an offense and couldn't run the ball as much. And then that then allows us to be this is what your defense wants to do, which is turn us into a one-dimensional attack. That's why we've got to maintain balance. That's why I said one of my keys to this game is you got to be balanced. And because you got to it on that doesn't mean you're going to get to it on this one. I think you got a great pass rush, but there is ways to kind of work around that a little bit more creatively than we did in that last time we were facing you guys. Greasicle. When I wear Seahawks in San Francisco, no one says anything to me. I wear Seahawks in Stockton, Santa Rosa, Modesto, Ukiah, Middleton, and other hick towns. The hillbillies call me a bandwagon fan. I stayed in San Jose for like a year, and I'd wear my hockey gear out there all the time. They'd give it to me. I walked into one bank, and the bank manager was like, "Yeah, no, we're not gonna serve you." And he was joking after all, but he was serious at first. I was like, "Geez, really?" Like, yeah, no, not with that hat on. Nope. Barry Reed says, "Do you guys forget you lost to us 2 games this year?" Yeah, we remembered. But Barry, do you know how hard it is to beat a team 3 times in a row in one season? And Barry, I'd have you go look up the track record of teams over the last 20 years that have played a team 3 times that have won the first 2 matchups and how often they win that third matchup. I think you'll find the statistics do not work well in your favor in that respect of things. Now, that in itself doesn't mean that we have a chance or that we're going to win this game, but it's as much as just to push back, Barry. If I'm kind of just tired of hearing all the national perspective, tired of every Niner fan just decide, this goes out saying that we got this win. This is a playoff game. I don't know about playoff games having, we know it's going to be a win. I know how this is going to go. We know how that's going to play out. Careful. As I say to you Niner fans, careful. Same stuff I was hearing from Saints fans back in 2010 when we were 7-9 and won our division and they came and played us. You got no chance in this game. Nashville, no chance. No chance. How'd that game turn out? How'd that go? I like your guys' confidence, though. It's good to see. Chuck, do we really have a chance to win? We do have a chance to win. And no, I don't think we're waiting for a miracle to happen. And again, the people want to push back against me, and that includes the Niner fans going, you're like, yeah, I was also one of those people telling people in the offseason that we weren't going to be a 2-win, 3-win team. Like a lot of the Niner fans out there were telling me in my chat in the offseason, or like I was hearing nationally as well. So y'all were wrong about that, but you're right about this. And is it possible if I was right about that, maybe I could be right about this too? Maybe. And I don't know whether we're going to win or not, but I'm telling you, this is going to be a lot closer game than you guys are putting it as. Ben Dennett says, so here's the Seattle trending in the millions after the game. Hey, cheers. Here's to it, man. Here's to it. Yeah, Seahawks O'Day, I think Walker is quicker and faster than Homer. Homer's quick, but I think Walker's another step quicker. Verbal Nerd, man, just don't count the last 3 movies. Most of the Disney Plus stuff has been good. Andor, Boba Fett, Mando, Bad Batch, all better than the sequel trilogy. That's good to hear. Maybe I'll got to go and check that out. I've been a little anti with the Disney stuff lately too, because just like, again, they're pumping a lot of stuff out, but I don't know if it's good stuff. But yeah, I'm going to have to eventually just sort of act like the Abrams trilogy didn't exist. It's the only way. It's the only way. Ben Dennett, artificial or natural turf? I want natural grass, personally. That's the best. That's the best. Thesaurus's Book of Boba was terrible. That was the one of the list you put on there that I hadn't heard as good things. The other ones you'd mentioned, I'd heard good stuff about. Andor, certainly Mandalorian. Bad Batch, I've even heard some good stuff, but I hadn't heard about that, about the Fett. Are you sure they win if they score more points? Oh, goodness. Megan's a $2 donation says, head's killing me and I can't keep up with the trolls. All right, Megan, no worries. It's all good. We're not going a super huge long period of time further here. So we're going to be doing, I got a couple shows tomorrow. I'm going to be knocking out too. So then we got a 12-hour stream on Saturday. So we got to keep the voice fresh. Garth with a $5 donation. Thank you, Garth. And thank you, Megan, for all your moderation duties you do out there. And if you can't hang on, no worries on that. Garth, thank you for the $5 donation. Says, Brandon, at Turbo Duran believes the Orange Cat is a Niners fan. Proved to them that she's not through cat magic on Saturday. I will. She heard you, by the way, on that Turbo Duran. She heard you say that I mean, that's the equivalency of going into a church and taking the Lord's name in vain. That's just what you did. You know what I mean? Why don't you go draw a pentagram in a church while you're at it? To say that she is a Niner fan? He called you a Niner fan. Did you hear that? No? That was the dramatic no. That was a movie no. That was a no. That's what she said. She goes, no. I'm telling you, man. You just sealed your Niners' fate with that one, Turbo. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were going to say that, but you said it, and now you've brought upon the wrath of Pumpkin the Orange Cat, and that's just not the kind of fire you want. That's not orange. That's from the flames, okay? It looks orange, but it's actually from the flames she causes. And she's a Seahawk fan. I've bred her as such. She was catching Seahawk footballs as a kitten when she was yay high. I got the video to prove it. Thank you, Garth. Appreciate you, though. Red Corn 509 with a $5 dono. Thank you, Red Corn. Stack up the box. Get exotic with our looks on D. Need the offensive line to create some space for our backs. Let's shake up the world. Let's shake up the world, Hawks. Let's effing go. Hey, let's go. And Red Corn, you and I, we are simpatico here, brother, because I had a 9 key list here at the start of this that I looked at and said, these are the 9 keys. And the number 1 key out the gate, and I put it as number 1 for a reason. And that was stack the box and stop the run. Stack the box not only because it puts you in a better position to stop the run, but it also puts you in a position to then put a lot of pressure up in the face of Brock Purdy. Make him uncomfortable. Make him feel like a blitz is coming. And you don't even have to send it all the time. Just give him the look of it. Give him the appearance of it. Make him think more pre-snap. You want those rookies thinking, not just playing free and easy and loose. And I think that's the way you get it. I think saying shaking it up, Red Corn, is a great way of putting it. Shake it up. You're not a team that shows a lot of stack fronts. You're not a team that blitzes a whole bunch. To do it to them this week against this Niner team would catch them off guard. I would measure a guess to say that they would not necessarily be well prepared for it if you were to do it, because you have been such a hesitant team to blitz in recent history, even going back 10 years. So I would love to see the same thing, Red Corn. I hope that they take that same route here. That would be great to see. Ben Dennett, thank you for subscribing to the channel, Ben. Welcome aboard the Hawks Nest, and I appreciate you subscribing to the channel, brother. You are awesome for doing so. Garth Knight with another $5 donation. Thank you, Garth. You are awesome as well. Says, Hawks have the orange cat and Kenny Skywalker and his left-handed genius going for them. That's all they have, but it might be all they need. That's how the saying goes, right, Garth? We all we got. We all we need. We all we got. We all we need. We all we got. We don't got the national media. That's all right. That's all we need. We all we got. Everybody out there saying we're going to lose. That's all right. We got us who believe. We got us that can see the pathway to this win. We got us still in this saying, hey, house money, baby. Push it all to the center of the table. We ain't got nothing to lose. Every last chip. Every last chip. Leave nothing in the stack. Push it to the front and let the cards fall where they may. Thank you, though, Garth. I appreciate the $5 donation. And the Orange Cat's power is enough in itself. Yeah. 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 You tell them, kitty. You tell them. They need to know. Thank you, Garth, for all the donations, though, man. Greg Pfeiffer, the Seahawks have to leave everything on the field, and I hope Waldron pulls out a bunch of tricks. Go Hawks. That's it, man. Pull it all out. Take that bag you got, Waldron. On a weekly basis, you go, I need this. I need that. Let me get this. Okay, I'm going to need some of that. I'm going to need some. This week, all you do is you take that bag and you just tip it upside down on the desk. That's what you do. You shake that sucker all the way out. Go every last bit of it. We're going to need all of it this week. So let's go. Nothing on the table. I love it. Jody Vera says, I want to see that nickel blitz a lot off the blind side. Yeah. Kobe Bryant's he's got a feel for it, doesn't he, Jody? I think one of the first guys, or one of the few guys as a rookie with 4 passes defense, like 3 sacks, 4 turnovers. But he including last week when he got home. Let's go. Brian says sloppy weather equals turnovers. We just need to have less of them. That was my point number 4 of my keys list, Brian, was that you have to win the turnover battle. Got to do it. Got to do it. New phone is this. It's rare a team beats anyone 3 times in a season. Hawks will upset the Niners. Count on it. Pete's about to pull out all the stops. I hope he does. And that would be wonderful to see. God, you talk about something to just ignite this rebuild in a major way is to pull this kind of win off. Tax 49956, a great like to view, great like to live viewer ratio. Hope to see you again in the last second sports. God bless. Well, thank you, Tax 49. I will be on last second sports tomorrow, actually 6:00 Pacific Standard Time. We're going to be rocking and going head to head here a little bit. And, I'm going to be trying to sway the Niner faithful out there to be, you guys are awful confident out there. You guys sure? I probably won't shake their confidence. That's okay though. I don't need to. Magic time's right, Turbo Duran. Geno Smith magic time is right. Greasicle, what's the cat's name? Cat's name is Pumpkin. And I didn't choose the name. I was going to call her Cersei. Yeah, you didn't like that name. Says, I'm not an evil character. Not me. Not me. Sweaty fingertips, my cat's seriously doing the same thing as your cat right now. She can feel it. She can feel your guys' energy through the chat. She's up and down, sitting up and down, back and front, on my lap, back on the cat stand. She's ready to go. It's game day. I could put a little eye black under her little eyes, and she'd be ready. She'd be like, claws out. Here we go. Come on. Come on. Furble Nerd, yeah, B-Wags wouldn't take offense of Diggs doing that. He knows it's all in good fun. Those guys are bros. Splash and Skills, the Hawks Nest. Who should be drafted by the Hawks in the first round? I'll give you a couple guys random. What about we'll go Jalen Carter and Trenton Simpson. There's 2 guys for you as far as potential first round guys. Or how about we go Jalen Carter, Brian Brees? Just double it up. Double up on the defensive line. We need extra bodies down there, so why not grab 2? I'm not as certain on the route yet, Splash and Skills, because I do need to look through the rest of the talent that's available. I've gotten through about 80-ish names of the upcoming draft, but I hope to get through about 300 when it's all said and done. So keep checking in with me on that one. Probably will continue to change. Megan says, don't disrespect Mando, B. Love me, Grugo. No, Mando's supposed to be one of the good ones I need to check out. So that one's one I'm in favor of that one. That one's a plus one. It was the one people had said about the other one. I'd heard bad. Wilbur Knight says, salute Brandon. Who is going pick five? I think Wilbur, if I was being a betting man right now on how it's going to play out, I think 3 quarterbacks go in the top 5 picks, one way or another. I think that then you're going to see Will Anderson taken, and then I think you're going to see Jalen Carter land on our Seahawks lap. And I think the Seahawks take him. Yeah, Tommy, we're used to the rain. We're like Bane, man. We were born in this. Wilbur Knight, I love Sealy Ringo. He's my cornerback 1 right now in this draft as it stands. So if you pair him up with Woolen, that would be absolutely dangerous pairing. It would. Joshua Marlands, what do I foresee for Drew Lock's future? Will he be our future Geno in 3 to 4 years? I think Drew Lock. I think really where this probably goes with Drew Lock is it's going to be built up on what happens with Geno Smith. I don't really see you bringing Geno back in and then you're re-signing Drew Lock and Drew wanting to be in a position where he's behind Geno again without an opportunity. I think he's going to want at least a chance somewhere to compete for a job somehow. But if Geno goes somewhere else and signs somewhere else, then you bring back Drew to become Geno next year. But I do think that this team probably drafts a quarterback in like the 3rd or 4th round to try to hopefully kind of find like a guy like you're not going to find Russell Wilson, obviously, but to find a Russell-like guy that you can get, who can be valuable for you on a rookie deal, who's not costing a lot. You give him a year maybe to develop behind, Geno and then see what he can do at that point. But it's hard to kind of quite see Drew being willing to come back. If Geno signs like a 3-year deal here, then him coming back to back up Geno at that point. I think he probably moves on. That's how it feels, at least. Wu-Tang, house money, Hawks, let's go. House money's right. I like house money. It's all bonus. It's all bonus. And the chat's gone crazy. We got a lot in the chat today, so if I miss some comments or questions, it's going to happen today a little bit. For sure here. Ray Barrio says that's sad about Norb. Yeah, it is sad about Norb. I did reach out to Norb on IG, and we're doing I'm talking a little bit back and forth with him. So he's feeling a little bit more optimistic. It sounds like he might be able to get his channel back, which is great to hear. But as I've said a couple times, we'll have Norb's back on if he's got to restart. God forbid. We'll certainly help him out in that respect to get back to clicking and going. Overnight, why Robertson ain't playing over LJ Collier? I don't know. The team keeps dropping out LJ Collier for one reason or another. I can't quite make sense of it either. I hear you, kitty. Scooby Snacks, Bosa's going to have to try and catch up with the K9. Good luck with that. Good luck. Good luck. Mitchell Bonner, I think it's a grindy, tight affair. It's going to be close either way. 17-14. Honestly, not sure which way. That's how I see it too, Mitchell. I think it's going to be a grind. That's what I'm kind of the whole point of my show with this was not to say like I have confidence we can win this game, but I think it's going to be way closer than where the pundits put this, where Vegas is putting this, where nearly everyone out there nationally is putting it. Power of Myth says, did 49ers lose to Broncos and Russ? Yes, they did. He's got that franchise's number one way or another. And Wilbur Knight, we do need to bolster the defense. That's why you can see with my first choices, Carter, Trenton Simpson, Carter, Brian Brees, Carter, Brian Branch. I mean, you can kind of go to a lot of different combinations there and go just double defense if you want to, and I'm not going to be mad at it. Man in the Pit says, anyone can see Abrams hates Star Wars by looking at his trilogy. Hard to imagine anything more offensive to Lucas lore, although the Kenobi series is trying. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well said, Man in the Pit, and I 100% agree with that. Abrams didn't have really that love. Nobody would have done with that franchise what he did if you actually had a love for the franchise. But that guy is the most cookie cutter, boring director, just overrated to all hell. And, he was going to try to do, I remember reading his scripted back in the day for Superman. You guys want to know how bad he messed up the Star Wars trilogy? Go back and read the Abrams script for Superman from like 20 years ago. Oh my God. That thing is a pile of absolute dung. I think at one point he made Lex Luthor the hero in it or something, or Lex's. Oh, it's just bad. It's just bad. And he's an awful, awful filmmaker. Leonardo Cruz, Niners will not take this game lightly due to our bad history. And saying Niners are being cocky, that's BS. Everyone in the league was the best in their schools, so everyone is cocky, not just one group. I just don't remember in 2013 Leonardo going, well, we've got the easiest path to getting to the Super Bowl in NFL history. Like, that's cocky. And I'm hearing that from a variety of different 49er fans. I'm hearing 49er fans going like, there's not going to be a problem for us at all. So, I mean, you may feel they're not, but that's not what I'm seeing online or hearing out, and even what I've been seeing in the chat at times in the stream here from some Niner folks. And you guys are being respectful, so I'm not saying you're not, but look, there's definitely a big type of overconfidence right now that does lead me to wonder a little bit about that. We'll see, though. We'll see. Jason McEward, even if the Hawks, and even if the Seahawks, if the Seahawks to lose, I'm not worried about it because this is a rebuild year. And we like to go two of our best players, and we have a ton of ammunition, draft capital, plus money to spend. Yes, we do, Jason. That's right. So I say this is nothing but a bonus game for us. We're all in the bonus here. Elena says, I would die laughing if the Niners barely win and Debo or McCaffrey end up getting injured on that slop field. That'd be brutal turn of fate for them. Wilbert says, can you imagine having Anderson on that front Saturday? Good gracious. He'd help. He would help. No doubt about that. Megan, $2 donation says, B, need to bail. Talk soon. Sounds good, Megan. You have a great night. Garth with another $5 donation. Thank you, Garth. Says, Andor was a good show about a character nobody cares about. By the way, all these bad Star Wars movies and shows come from Lucasfilm based in, you guessed it, Frisco. Yeah. And look, there's some shows in entertainment now that's not always being built to be just entertaining. It's supposed to now have to come with some messaging, which doesn't help. But these, it's been a weird deal with that. And George Lucas selling Star Wars and then letting Kathleen Kennedy still run the show. She stands at the head of that as being the person that just is the worst for the franchise, and it's the guy that made The Mandalorian, I forget his name, Dave Filoni, I think, or something. Like, he should be the guy guiding this whole thing in the way that once what's his face did for Marvel, even though he's lost his touch too a little bit. Kevin Feige, I guess. Filoni should be the Feige of Star Wars, but you still have Kennedy sitting up there, and she's like a lot of people in this day and age. She just keeps getting to fail and doesn't get canned for doing so. But she's awful along with it too. Just not great filmmakers. Chat's going great. Oh, I love to see the back and forth. It's awesome. Let's go, Niner fans. Let's go. Jack Maloney, all I'm going to say is we were supposed to be bad. Now we're in the playoffs. Let them talk their talk. Yeah, let them talk. Let them talk. That's why I sit here with a little wry smile on my face. Because okay, enjoy your confidence. Okay. This is all bonus for us. Watch what happens this Saturday. Things going to get a little tight, I think. A little tight. I hope we lose. I hope we win this game. Niner fan base will lose their mind if they lose this game. There's no Niner fan that can commit me I'll be fine if we lost. I'll be like, well, it was a good solid season, and then we just lost to the. We just lost the Seahawks at home. Oh my God, that'd be amazing. It would be so amazing. Where'd all the 49er fans go? Did they peace out already? They came in to do their damage. Isaac Hyatt, I haven't had a chance to take a look at Jaron Hall yet of BYU, but he is on my list. So I'm a little tiny bit behind, as admittedly, on my prospect. I'd hope to actually be up to like 150 at this point, but I am at only about 80 or so. I've looked at probably about 10 or 11 quarterbacks, but he's not one that I've quite gotten to. But I promise you, Isaac, I will take a look at him. He's on my list for sure. David Moore, how about Schmitz for the late first round pick? We really need a center, and our own pick will probably slide. Our own pick will probably slide pretty late. It depends on how late it slides. We're at 20 right now, David. And so I wouldn't want to get him at 20. You could trade back and get Schmitz and move back if you wanted to go that route. I think with your first, second round pick, Denver's second round pick in that trade, you could get Schmitz right there. I don't think that he goes in the first round. He's a really good center, but I think you'd be able to pick him up at the top of the second. Kirk says the book of Boba Fett was indeed bad. That's what I was hearing too. That confirms what I had heard and why I'd kind of avoided it. Thought it was best. Erickson, we're making cake and gonna eat it too. Playoffs and Hall of Picks. What? Mythical Pigeon says Jerry Rice left the Clown Niners to play on a real team, the Seahawks. Oh goodness, I love it. I love this time of year. I'll live for this. Oh, that's awesome. My music, the Niners have a weakness covering downfield. Do you think we would be able to pass block long enough to exploit it, or do you think Shane will do the same 5-yard routes? I think you're going to see a lot of short routes, my music. I think they're going to be worried about the pass rush. I think a little bit in the second matchup, they tried to have those routes that develop a little bit deeper down the field and take those shots, and that's why you saw a little bit more of that pressure getting closer to getting home and getting home more often in that second Niner attack. So you're not going to have really probably the opportunity to be able to pull that off, I would say. Maybe here and there, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. You're going to probably have to do this a little more traditionally offensively, a little more patient offensively, a little bit more of a earning your way up the field kind of a philosophy for this game. David Moore says all the draft talk is premature. We need to re-sign Geno and Locke or know that we're moving on. It's not just about filling the spots. It determines how much money we have to fill spots with free agency. Yeah, I think it's okay time to talk about the prospects that are there, David, but it's hard to predict about who's going to go where and what's going to be what. You're right about not only your own re-signings, but free agency and all that. Definitely is going to change the game. Leonardo Cruz, congratulations to you guys. Everyone said you were going to be at the bottom of the barrel and none in your playoffs and not in the playoffs. Going to work in the morning, so good luck. Have a good night. Have a good night, Leonardo, and thank you to all the Niner fans who come in and been respectful in the chat. You guys usually mostly are, and so I really do appreciate that. It's just good. It's good little trash talking back and forth I can see, which is nothing bad in that. Doug Payne says, FYI, Mitchell and Debo are back and healthy. Good luck. Our team is hungry and healthy again. They're laser focused and humble. Great leadership. Well, we'll see, man. I appreciate the luck, man. Good luck to you guys too. We'll see how it goes. You got to win the game still. And I'm not so sure Debo's 100%. Maybe healthy enough to play, but is he 100%? Is he completely over that leg issue? Jason Juder, oh God, I went away to avoid the Star Wars talk and it's still going. I'd rather Abrams work outside of Star Wars. Yeah, me too. I don't know how we got on the Star Wars talk. Donnie Pearson, I don't have anything against J.J. Abrams, to be honest. My problem comes with the magic box, the mystery box thing that he has. If anybody's looked at Abrams, they know what the mystery box thing is. And it guides him on everything he does in writing a story. And it's like a sleight of hand trick from a filmmaking standpoint. And rather than having a meaty story that's actually got something built behind it, you show little, you show the mystery of it. And so let their imagination build. You don't build the story. You just rely on the watcher's imagination to build the story. Okay. How about you just write a good story? A-hole, Isaac Hyatt, John Favreau was the director. Yeah, no, he's the director. But Dave Filoni was the big consultant guy in on it. It's like, that's why I say like Kevin Feige is not like the director. He's like but a main consultant at that point. It's kind of what you needed with it, I think, with the Star Wars crew. King Bomber, I could see a fake punt, man. I could absolutely see a fake punt in this game. Trick play, fake punt. You got to pull out all the stops and all this kind of thing, right? The gossip, I'm liking Miles Murphy more and more. Yeah, I do like Miles Murphy, man. Me too. I'm with him. I'm with it. Ethan says, I like the Hawks, need to get an early lead. I'm worried about CMC and Purdy. Hasn't shown me his arm is a threat. Hasn't to me either. I think you got to make Purdy beat you with his arm in this game if you can possibly do so. Ryan Ball, this is definitely making me more excited for Saturday. Me too, man. I like this. I like my Hawks and Niner fans going at it. This is the way it should be. All is right in the world when we're battering back at each other. You know, the world is in perfect harmony and balance when Niner fans and Seahawk fans are going head to head. It's a beautiful thing. It's Mother Nature in motion. James Peters, we've got to run more screens with the way Blythe gets walked back in the pocket like a terrier. San Francisco is always upfield rushing. Be great if you could work that in, James. You haven't been good in pulling those kind of plays off in recent history. I will say that. You know, it's been a little bit tough for you to kind of make that work, but that'd be a great thing to be able to bring in and unveil in this game a little bit more. Garth with a $5 donation. Thank you, Garth. I appreciate all the donations to the channel tonight, man. You were awesome. Niner fans can stand behind their Santa Clara team, but they can't stand up for Lucasfilm or anything else in Frisco. No, especially the poopy streets. You guys got the poopy streets there. There's no covering that up. So I was like, well, you can always just wash it away. Like, no, you got websites devoted to poop detection. I know our Seattle streets aren't much better, but they're a little bit better. We only have needles on our streets. We don't have any poo. There's a huge difference. It's a monstrous difference. Thank you, Garth, for the $5 dono. Garth throwing some shade at San Francisco. Garth taking shots. Gringo Wars is, hey, does anyone know the name of the channel of that one Seahawks streamer? I can't find him anymore. Gringo Wars, it's Norbcam, and he's going to be back, man. I think he's trying to get his channel back. He got hacked. So he's trying to work in the background to get himself back to front, and hopefully YouTube provides him a recourse to pull that off. Yeah, Norbcam got hacked. I was talking to Last Second Sports. I'm going to go on that Niner channel tomorrow, and he was saying that there's some Niner channels out in the community that have also gotten hacked. So it looks like guys are kind of getting targeted in this, which freaks me out, of course. So I've got to cordon off my stuff completely from potentially having that happen, which sucks. Dirty world. Dirty world. Randy Wagner says Damar Hamlin discharged from Buffalo Hospital and is now recovering at home. Let's go. Let's go. How great to see Damar coming back. That's an awesome story that they got him back out of the hospital. That's big. Tommy says it might be hard to pick a center when we are picking 32. That's true. Or we can just grab in 32. You know, that's probably right that's about the right value for Schmitz right there. But that's about right, man. That's about right. Stimpy says Tom Grossi's reaction to us being in the playoffs in his latest video is golden. I'll check it out, man. He makes me laugh. I love Tom. He's awesome. James Peters, DK has to turn up the gas, man, and run right down the field and then go up and get the ball. We need to make a big play in this one, James. We do. We need DK to show up in this game. Can't disappear like he did a little bit in that second matchup. Can't drop balls. Got to make those catches when he's got his opportunities this week, too. Danny W says, people saying Pete is coach of the year is a bit ridiculous. Kyle Shanahan is down to a third-string quarterback. He should win coach of the year. Well, I think that he's done a good job with that and overcoming that part of it, Daniel. And I think Shanahan's done a tremendous job there. He has. I agree with you that there's other guys you could definitely put up ahead of Pete. I don't know if I'd put Shanahan just because he's done what he's done with a third-string quarterback. He's got as stacked a team as anybody out there from a talent perspective of things. And some of what you do as a coaching job should be, if you get an elite team out there, but also should be like, did you get more out of your talent than maybe that was there? You know, it's about doing the coaching job more than it is about the results. And I think Carroll's probably, or even a guy like, as I said, the Giants coach has probably done more with less at that point. But Shanahan's done a great job. I'll give you that. I'm not saying he hasn't done that. It's close. Emmanuel Martinez says, Sabado ganamos? Well, Sabado ganamos to you too, man. I don't know what that means. Hope it wasn't. Moldy Bread says, no respect here. None given, none taken. King Bobber, the team is so good that they could probably start you as a quarterback if you could throw the ball and read plays. I could. I actually got a pretty good arm. I got an accurate arm. It's not a good, strong arm, but it's accurate. inside of 15 years, I will put the fire out on a wick. Erickson, Waldron's got to throw them exotics. What? That's right, man. I need those European designs coming in on this one. Benelli says, my coach of the year is Miami Mike. It's a good one too, man. I think there's a lot of coaches that have Randy Wagner mentioned Mike Tomlin. I mean, there's a lot of coaches this year that have, I think, a pretty good argument to be made for coach of the year. Ryan Ball Pete deserves coach of the decade. Might be hard to win out over Belichick, who's got like 3 Super Bowl wins in the last 10 years. Might be tough. Elena wants more 3rd and 1s of Nick Bowler up the gut. I could go for that. I like the fullback look. I like Derek Young at fullback. Saw a little bit of that this last week. That was nice. That was nice. Erickson's got a Bruce strip sack coming. I like that. Old Brucey stripper. Wait, what did I say? I like the Eagles coach too, Sirianni. I think there's a lot of guys you could say. Snails has just got here now. Abram is being flamed. Yeah, we're going at JJ. Going hard at JJ. Jason, it sure is easy for us Hawk fans to be cocky when it's not risky. That's right. That's the benefit of this, Jason. If I was in the Niners position, I'd be a whole lot more nervous. That's why I'm kind of wondering why they're not nervous. But no, in my position right now, I could have a smile on my face and go, it's all gravy, baby. It's all gravy. We're going to get one extra help in a gravy or not. But it is all simply is, at the end of the day, gravy. Erickson says, the Seahawks only get better next year? What? Ethan Tech, well, Brandon, I sent you a message on Twitter about the hacking situation. Yeah. It's just that you got to have a stream. What essentially the bottom line is on this is he didn't get hacked by like the 2-factor authentication because everybody's got that stuff kind of on. It's that you got to lock it down further than that. You know, you have to segment a machine off the internet. You got to have that machine not being used for other stuff. You got to it's going to get, there's some extra steps now to kind of prevent it, unfortunately. But you got to do what you got to do. Don't want to be in that position where he's at as far as that happened to me. So you got to do what you got to do. Sucks. David, are the awards for coaches and players only based on the regular season? And when do they take place? After the Super Bowl? I think the voting does take place just after the regular season. I think I don't think they get to take the playoffs into account. So I think it's right around nowish. James Peters, you can get a good center anywhere in the second round, but I have a problem with no veterans on the offensive line, especially with them needing to replace Jackson to move Fields back to right guard. I don't know if they need to move Lewis back to right guard anymore, James. I mean, he had a good year at left guard. He's been functional there, and he is a veteran on that line at that point. I'd love to be able to go get a center in free agency like Mitch Morris, James, but there is probably only going to be maybe, and this is still not even a certainty, one good center on the free agent market this offseason. Maybe. So there might not be that veteran guy that you can go out there and get, or he might be on an equivalency as far as talent goes to what you've gotten out of Austin Blythe, which isn't good enough. So I get what you're saying. I'd love to have more of a veteran, solid guy I could just bring in, know what I'm getting from him, but I just don't know if that exists out there on the open market this offseason. Be good if it did, but I don't know. Yeah, Village Idiot. We're definitely, I'm down for trash talk and everything else, but I've instructed my mods if it gets personal or the gloves drop below the belt, you start going nutshot city, then that's not going to work in here. So, Man in Pit, Force Awakens is just flat out bad. It's all bad. It's all just the worst. Just the worst. Leonardo Sanchez says, if we win against the Winers, how far do we make it? I'm going to feel pretty high. I'm going to feel probably as confident as the Niners are feeling this week if we win this game. So you ask me this now and I'll probably like, well, we probably eventually top out, when I'm calmly in the place I am now, but I'll probably check with me on Saturday after a couple beers and I'll probably be like, Super Bowl this year, right now. Why we got to wait, Leonardo? Why we got to wait? I'll probably go hard on that in that way. But, look, you probably don't have a Super Bowl ready roster right now. You probably don't. And if you do get one upset done, you're probably not going to get 2 or 3 upsets done. I wouldn't necessarily wager on that. But this is the toughest game that we have to play on a pathway to the Super Bowl. I would say that. It only gets easier from here on out. It's great news about DeMar Hamlin. Absolutely it is. It's tremendous. Tremendous. King Bomber just tied me, or what are the odds of Lockett getting moved to the slot and Derek on the outside? It's possible. They haven't done as much Lockett on the inside this year, it seems like, King Bomber. They've kept him just to the outside. I don't know if they would change that this week necessarily. Elaine, I think Daboll's got as strong an argument as anybody. He does. Doug Peterson, there's another good name. I mean, so many guys. You could, Lions, Daniel with the Lions coach. I mean, goodness. There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys deserving and legitimate deserving. Mitchell Ness, you guys still talking about being the Niners? Yep. Speaking it into being is what they call that. I read this book called The Secret, and that's what it said I got to do. I just got to say, we're going to beat the Niners, and then believe it, and then it happens. The book said it's that simple. It's kind of like magic, really, if you think about it. No, Village Idiot, I think that, Kyle's got, I think you got a point. Kyle's definitely got an argument to be made for Coach of the Year too, but I think this is one of those unique years where there's a lot of guys that you could make a strong argument for. I don't think there's just a clear-cut guy there's no doubt this guy should be the Coach of the Year this year. Pacheco Science says people are saying this is a bye week for the Niners. Better watch out. That's what they're saying, man. That's what I've been saying. Careful. Pride goeth before the fall. That is a saying that's old as time, and it's old as time for a reason. Cliches are sometimes are cliches for a reason. Ethan says, man, there is so much ego from these Niner fans, a fan base that hasn't had anything happen to their team in over a quarter of a century. Oh, this is so awesome. Mitchell Ness, I am going on to Jesse's show tomorrow. Yep, I'm going behind enemy lines, folks. The Niner fans are going to be in there. They're going to be throwing slings and arrows and grenades at me. I'm going to be dodging M60 fire. You know what I mean? It's going to be cray-cray over there. But yeah, I'm heading on over there. I've looked forward to talking to Jesse. He's awesome. He does some great work over there on Last Second Sports. Big Country says, what do you think of the Star Wars prequels? I liked them a lot better after these recent prequels. I didn't like them a ton when they were going through. I thought there was a little bit of schlockiness there with Lucas, and a little bit like maybe he's lost some of his touch. But at least it's faithful to the iconography. What is it? To the lore, right? Like it was faithful to all that, where the recent ones have not been faithful to anything. So I at least liked it from that angle of things. It kept everything connected between what had happened in the prior, at least. And it looks like for the generation that came in front of me, that were the younger people in front of me, had that. Some of those kids had that. Those new prequels had the effect of the old prequels, like it did on me. So I can understand that. But the new stuff, I don't think the new stuff's going to have any effect on anybody. That stuff's going to be forgotten about. Already is. People are, wait, was there a new trilogy? Yeah, there was, wasn't there? Wasn't it just shit? Yeah, it was. Complete shit. Complete. Village Idiot, how come when I go to Seattle, I feel like I'm in the movie Deliverance? Well, because I think I've heard Niner fans have a hard time sometimes telling the difference between trees. So if you go back and watch the movie Deliverance, you'll notice that it has a very, very southern kind of feel to the woodlands that they're going through. You're not seeing a lot of, I don't know if you've seen or know what an evergreen tree is, but evergreen tree looks a little different than some of those trees that grow down there in the south. So I don't know. I guess you see green trees and water, and so that just makes you think Deliverance? I don't know. Man. I don't know. Delkey, how hard is it to produce your 5-hour content? It's actually very easy for me. I don't have any hard problems with it at all. For me, Del. The tough part for me is actually the produce stuff. The 10-minute videos that I end up putting together end up taking way more time than doing the streams. Like I've got a Will Anderson video I'm putting together right now. I've probably legit put like 20 hours into this already. So compared to the uploads and stuff, this stuff's easy. Easy. I love doing it too. DJ, if you think this is Blythe's first full-time starter as a center, of course he's going to have growing pains. No, he's played a lot of center. He's played a lot of center in the half. Talks and Sends, that's my score, 21-7 Hawks, like it. PTHV, knowing QBs are needed on different teams. If we were to trade Drew Lock, who would you swap him with? 2 defensive linemen maybe? Drew Lock's a free agent at the end of the year. So you're not in a position to be able to trade him. It's kind of a moot point. He's gone at the end of the season. James Peters, I'd love to see Walker more involved in the passing game and not swing passes. Our running backs never run vertical routes, really. No, they don't. They just do kind of go out to the flat, don't they? By and large. That'd be good to see. I'd like that too. Leon Thatch, I don't see this being a blowout at all. Division rivals, I bet anything it's a close game. That's the argument, Leon, I've been trying to make throughout this stream. So it's going to be a close game. Watch out. I think it's going to be a close one. Snail with a $2 donation. Thank you, Snail. Says Seahawks Jaguars Super Bowl this year. Oh boy, the NFL would be crying tears if that was the matchup. If that was the matchup, they'd be like, can we make Trevor Lawrence a star already? Is that too early? But that'd be awesome. Sign me up for that Super Bowl, man. And we got him. We got the Jaguars in that matchup. We're going to kill that Cinderella. Shout out to the Lions is right, man. Thank you for helping us out. Gringo Wars, brother, thanks for letting me know that it was Norbcab. I was tripping out for a sec. I really wanted to see his reaction and his thought on the 49ers game. Yeah, he got nailed. It was tough, Gringo. The guy took his channel, deleted all of his videos, changed his channel name to Tesla or something, and he's trying to get it back. It's honestly, it's like when I heard it, it's like I said, it's sort of like you watch a guy getting hit in the nuts, and you know when you can watch a guy hit. Only guys understand this, I think. Right? Like you watch a guy get hit in the nuts, you feel it. You know, there's a part of you that goes, oh, God, that's got to be bad. And that's how I felt with him on this. It's just, that's the worst case nightmare scenario for us as far as the situation goes. And so hopefully YouTube does give him the recourse on that, please, because it is a scary, scary situation to think that you could just lose 10 years of work and thousands of videos and all those hours of work. And some, I can't back up 2,500 hours of live stream shows. We've got over 500 live stream shows here, I'm not going to be able to go get 15 terabytes of data to do that. That'd take forever. So you go, okay, come on, YouTube. Come on. Kronos, I like the prequels as much as the OG movies. Of course, episode 1 was my first Star Wars movie. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I understand. I don't have any hate for the second sequel. It doesn't capture me like it did when I was younger, but I can understand it's a different age group. It's made for kind of a younger audience that was coming in at that time. I get that. The new one though, no. As my little nephew would say, no. Mitchell says, "Nah, Jesse's show is saying it will be a good show." I know. Will Mitchell, I'm poking fun. I'm feeling feisty tonight. A little feistiness in me tonight. I don't know why. Mitchell says, Seahawk fans invaded Niner chats for years when you guys were on us. I'm sure we did. I don't have any problem with Niner fans coming in here myself. I know some people bristle at it, but I don't have any problem with it. Sijin says, Deliverance equals the cypress tree. There we go. There's the key difference on that one. Randy says, Coach Pete, at preseason, I never in my wildest reasoning saw the Seahawks making the playoffs. Hats off to Pete Carroll. Hats off to Pete, man. Great job. Great job this year. Village Idiot says, you can't beat us without Wilson. We'll see. We'll see this week. Mariah, if the Seahawks have to play in San Francisco, I feel like the refs will be biased on every call, and it will go the Niners' way. Well, we've been down that road a little bit this year in a lot of our games, haven't we, Mariah? So we're definitely prepared for that potentiality, and that certainly could be a way that this does go. I certainly don't think the NFL, as they showed with the Packer game and how they scheduled the Packer line game, I don't think that they would foresee liking having the Seahawks going very deep into the playoffs. I don't think they look at that as a prime matchup for them, and that's a high viewership type game. We'll see if it does affect things. Mariah, I'll call it like I see it if that's the way the game plays out. But I've also seen at times the Niners in the past, they don't always get the same benefits of the doubt. Some other organizations do at times. So we'll have to see. Poop Dog says, Brando, do you write a script or outline before you go on air? No, I did the 9 talking points that I wanted to cover for this game specifically, but most of the time I just, I kind of have a general idea what I want to say and then go. Sometimes I prepare a little bit, but I don't have a script. Definitely not that. I like the fear that's built by not knowing what I'm going to say. It's that fear that brings out the best. Sector 7 with a $2 donation. Thank you, Spectre 7. Says, freaking Saturday? Saturday? What the F? I have to work. I don't like it either, man. I like playoff games being all done on Sundays on the same time. I know they're trying to get maximum viewership, maximum eyeballs on it, but on top of the fact that it shortens the week up for both ball clubs, I'm not a fan of it either. And boy, that would suck having to go to work, man. That's brutal. That's brutal, Sector 7. Well, I'll be doing the live stream. I'll be covering it end to end here, so... I got you on my end of it. I'll try to be keeping you up on what I can from my end if you need to tune in over here, but that sucks, man. I think you're getting a little cold, Spectre 7. I can hear something in the back of your throat. I think it's tickling a little bit. I don't know if that's going to be something, but maybe during this day and age, you just need to stay home to protect yourself and everybody at your work around you. I mean, maybe that also needs to be kind of the way that plays out, Thank you for the donation, though, brother. Daryl Chapman with a $5 donation. Thank you, Daryl. Says, I think we approach the Niners. I think if we approach the Niners like we did last month, but instead are more aggressive on both sides, we can win and shock the NFL world. I think we can as well, Daryl. I think we can as well. And why not be aggressive? The worry that you have of being aggressive, especially when you talk about the defense being aggressive, stack boxes, a little more blitzing, right? The worry comes from the spot of 2 different things, of giving up the big play and specifically on top of that, giving up the big throws deep down the football field. And I don't think Brock Purdy's going to have the arm to make those kind of throws, number 1. And number 2, let's take the risk. We got nothing to lose. And if they hit those plays in the rain, when Purdy hasn't proven he's been able to do it, it's like asking a jump shooter who's shown you he can't hit a 3-point shot. He starts drilling 3-pointers. You go, okay, you can hit it. You got it. You did it. But show me you can do that. Show me you got that in your bag, Brock, because I'm not so sure you did. I think there's a reason you were the last guy selected in the 7th round. I think there's a reason you were the last quarterback selected in the last draft of horrible quarterback class. So let's see how it goes. We'll see how it goes, but that's the pathway to me too, is get aggressive, Daryl. Offensively, I'm okay with being aggressive. I do think, Daryl, we have to be careful of that a little bit with the fact that you don't want the turnovers, and you've lost the turnover battle in both the first 2 games against the Niners. That's the place to me that you've got to kind of try to turn that around in another direction if you can possibly do it. Thank you though, Daryl, for the $5 donation. Curtis the Titus. Thank you, Curtis. Appreciate you for subscribing to the channel, man. Welcome aboard the Hawks Nest. You're awesome for doing so. Barry Reed, you guys barely beat the Rams with 3rd string and no Cooper Kupp and no Aaron Donald. Yeah, well, we were just saving the reserves in the tank for the next week, man. We knew we had to go play the playoffs, so we're just, we're chilling. We knew we had the Rams. We could just hit the cruise control button. We'll be fine. TM says, I think we take Levis at 5 with Carter and Anderson off the board. I could see it playing out like that, and I could see us doing that very same thing, man. I could. Leon Thatch, hey, Brendan, can you get Norb Cam on here? That would be really fun. Yeah, we will definitely be bumping up in at some point. Me and I'm sure him, doing a collab at some point. I've been a little bit probably lazy and reaching out to any other channels here through the season. I've just kind of got my head down at times. I'm just growing and grinding. But at some point we can put something together on that, Leon, I'm sure. So I just was reaching out to him on IG, and he sounds like he's in a good place as far as feeling pretty confident he's getting his channel back. So we'll work something out in the future, man. Randy says, I'll be keeping my eyes on the Jaguars. I think they got something cooking with the Jags. Oh, I like Lawrence. He was my favorite quarterback that draft that he came out of. So I think they're going to be a dangerous team moving in the future. That AFC isn't getting any easier. It's not getting any easier out there in that AFC. Matt P says, Hawks have put up 21 points in 2 games against the 49ers. What makes you think this will be close? Well, I think that we're getting better in the 2 games. We've gotten closer from the first game to the second. I think in the first game, we had a very conservative attack. I also think, Matt, in that first game that there was two things that kind of went down with that on the points thing. You got down the field on one, you got down the field and you had a bad call that held you back from getting some points. The other one, you decided to have your running back throw the ball down near the goal line, or you might have scored more points in that particular affair. Indeed, it's an uphill battle on this one, but I think that with the weather where it's at, being the third time we've played you, being the fact that we played you a little tougher in the second matchup than we did in the first matchup, I think we're going to stay in that same realm of things. I do. I can't say, well, I know we did this and they did that, and that's the reason I could point to us doing better, but I think we played you guys more solid in the second matchup. It was essentially two broken plays where our corner didn't pick up a guy in coverage and then our linebacker didn't pick up a guy in coverage, and on those two big plays, you got over us in that game. But aside from that, that was a very close game and very even Steven. So that's where my confidence comes in from on that. Ethan says the 49ers swept the Rams in the regular season last season and then lost in the playoffs. Watch out for the same thing on Saturday. Great point there, Ethan. I love it. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row, man. It not just like it's marginally hard. It's really hard to do it. The track record's not great for teams trying to pull that off. James Peters, I'd like to see the Hawks sign one of the defensive line from Philly. All 4 free agents after this season. Definitely need a defensive tackle to fill Puna's spot. He's too little for a 3-4. 100%. 100%. Sign me up for that. Hargrave would be great here in Seattle. If you get Javon Hargrave in here, that'd be awesome. I'll be on board with something like that. But yeah, Puna just does not fit. You are right about that. Barry Reed says, so sad you guys are hoping for bad weather to get lucky and win. I ain't hoping for it. I'm just paying attention to the weather report. That's all I'm doing. It's not like it's like sunny out there right now and we're like, oh, please, rain gods, let us do a little dance and bring us the rain. The weatherman's telling it's going to be rainy. They're telling us it's going to be cyclone-like conditions. I would think, traditionally, when you have 2 teams, and Niner fans, I would think that this wouldn't be a hard point for you to understand, considering you experienced this in the very first game of the season with the Chicago Bears, right? You go into a place where there's monsoon conditions, it can kind of level the playing field as it did in that game, didn't it? Am I off on that, Niner fans? So if it did it there, why could it not do the same here? Brandy says, Tiger, one of the year goes to Pumpkin. Tiger of the year goes to Pumpkin. She'd love that. And it does indeed. Dominic Gianna says, I got the Niners by 15 plus points. You're not alone, man. Many Niner fans, many national pundits feel the same way. I tried to make an argument at the start of my stream here that there's a reason why I don't think it's going to be such a blowout. Drew Blanick, I know it's a Hugh game this weekend, but can't believe how many Niner fans in the chat tonight. Hey, they got a vibrant runs. They're feeling themselves. I can't blame them. They had a great year. I'd be feeling confident too if I was in that way. I get it. I'm trying to bring them back to earth a little bit, but I get it. Brian says, thanks again, B. You the man. Hey, thank you, Brian. Appreciate you, brother. Garth Knight with a $5 dono. Thank you, Garth. I'm pretty sure Brando outlined this. Number 6 bulletin point was Lucasfilm and Star Wars, but I was there for the preamble. Indeed. I covered them all on that. And again, stack the box and stop the run. Make Brock Purdy beat you with his arm. Remain balanced offensively, even if it's painful. Win the turnover battle. Keep the time of possession near equal. That goes in conjunction with the remaining balanced on offense, right? Keep the special teams unit needs to be special. We got to use some trick plays probably. Need to, don't get worried about the bombs as much. Not as much as the cover 3, not as much as the cover 4. And then let Coach Carroll let loose. Go crazy. That is the pathway here to this game and us getting a win. Elena says, I'm blessed. I don't have to work. I don't have to either. I just get to do the live stream. It's beautiful. I feel for the people that do, though. That's tough. Randy, U.S. playoffs should be designated U.S. holidays. Yes, they should, Randy. We need to get a petition on this stat. Tell me that that's not a holiday that could bring both sides of the aisles together, that they could agree on that one. 1 extra days off for people, right? Ray Barrow's 232nd pick, not by accident. Well said, man. Well said. No, Brock Purdy's not better than Geno, Dominic. Come on now. I think Levi Field's grass. Thought it was grass. Yeah, DJ Blythe's bounced around. He's got some time in the Rams offense, and remember, he's played in center. Not only has he played center, he's played in our offense before as a center. Geno is more purely talented quarterback than Brock Purdy. Watch him get exposed in the postseason, says G. Walker. It very well could happen, and somebody else said it. There's a reason he is the 232nd quarterback, and I know he's played really well, but I don't think Niner fans you've stumbled upon to the next Tom Brady. I don't. Man, the Pits, as I remember seeing in the trailer for Star Wars 1977, it is showing of Creature from Black Lagoon in 3D. Oh, wow. Isn't that a black and white, too? Wasn't that one still black and white? Did they do a color one of that? Primo with a $5 dono. Thank you, Primo. Says, hey, Brandon, I hope all is well. Question, and all is absolutely well. We're in the playoffs, brother. I'm doing great. Why don't we use a fullback to help Kenneth Walker? Well, we have been a little bit more lately. I mean, they've been rocking Derek Young back there. He laid a couple of really key blocks in this last game. They did. Nick Bellore was in there as well a little bit. The fullback positions died in football. It's not at the college scene, so there's not the guys to pick from at the college scene. It's a really small amount that even come out that are available for the draft every year, and it's just slowly been kind of wound out of football in favor of bringing an extra tight end on the football field because football has become more pass happy. Where a fullback more traditionally is helping you in the ground game, you need more help now in the passing attack. So he goes and he becomes a tight end now, and that's just been the transition of things. But it's hard because there's not as many good ones out there to go get. And it's just not if you're going to go with it and you bring a guy into that fullback, you go I formation, you got the fullback there. It's a little bit of a less threat that the defense has to necessarily worry about in the passing attack. And so, I'd love to see a rejuvenation of the position. I'd love to see guys like Kyle Juszczyk there for the Niners be more proliferated throughout the NFL. But there is only so many Kyle Juszczyks. There is. They're just few and kind of far between a little bit. But Derek Young's doing pretty good, Primo. He had a couple blocks out of fullback last week. Wasn't bad. Walker, I have no expectations of victory. 49ers do. That's why their despair will be hilarious. Oh, it will be. It would be an awesome. A Boot Dog will be a good drainage or possible mud bowl. I think they'll probably have good drainage, Boot Dog, because it's a newer stadium. So they probably built that into into the structure of the stadium a bit to deal with that. I would think. TM says rather have Drawn Payne. Me too. I'd take him over Javon Hargrave. But Hargrave will probably cost significantly less TM. Like Daron Payne's going to command a lot of money. Drew says Kenneth Walker just looks like he's going to be clutch in the playoffs. Going back to college, he rises up for the big games. I like it. I hope so, man. James Peters, have you scouted Luke Wilper from Ohio State? I like the kid. I do like the kid too, James. I do think he's a second-round player. He's a little bit, to me, of more of your traditional phone booth center in that he's at his best laying double-team blocks in space, or if he's got to go one-on-one, the zero tech's right in front of him. The more he's got to move out into space, James, the less I like him. And right now you need the mobile centers when you bring them in. And so I don't think Luke is going to have enough mobility or enough ability to pull or get to the second level to necessarily fit the prototype of the position that the Seahawks are going to be looking for. So he's still a really good center. He does a lot of really good things from that position. And again, I do think he will be a second round player, but he's a phone booth guy that I don't want to have to ask to move too far in my formation. I'm not going to want him pulling. I don't want him to have to get to the second level too often. He's at his best laying down the double team blocks, but he's a master at laying down the double team blocks. He really gets a good push with the other linemen up the field on that point of attack block. James Peters or the center from Georgia in the 4th or 5th round. I could go 4th or 5th round for Van Pram, James. I could. He's a little bit of like what you get with Luke Wilper, though, where he's different of Wilper in that he has the mobility. Wilper just doesn't have the mobility. Van Pram has the mobility, but Van Pram is really uncomfortable when you want him to start to move in space. He's going to lose his feet. He's going to fall over. Blocks at the second level are going to slip off of him because he just doesn't feel comfortable getting out there in space. He can do it, and maybe you can train him to get more comfortable because at least he has the physical ability to do it. But boy, watching the tape last night as I did on Van Pram, there was a lot of times where he just was completely out of sorts when he was being asked to get down get down lateral or get down to that second level. All right, so we are going to go ahead and put a button here in a second on this, as I've got 2 shows that I've got to do tomorrow. I've got to go over to Last Second Sports at 6 o'clock, and then I'm going back over to Brendan's channel at 8 o'clock. And then on Saturday, I'm going to be doing I'm guessing probably a 10 to 12 hour stream on that day. So we are going to probably kind of put the wrapping bow up here on this stream a little bit, as I want to make sure I'm kind of saving the voice a little bit here, as it will go. I was torched after Sunday. James Peters says, did you see that Neal made the PFF All-Pro team? I like that kid. I do too, James, and it's well earned. He was outstanding in every game he played for us this year, and especially his PFF grades were off the charts as far as how well he played. They really loved his season throughout, so it's not a surprise that he did make that All-Pro team, and that's well deserving on his part to get it. Very well deserving on his part. Villager says, when Purdy wins the Super Bowl, he'll have a statue. Well, if he wins the statue as a rookie 7th rounder, if he wins the Super Bowl as a rookie 7th rounder, he probably deserves to have a statue made about him. Dominic, we're not sure on if Geno's going to be the starter next year or not. Most people would prefer, I think, to bring him back, but they also don't want to break the bank for him. And is there another team going to offer more money? Maybe. Sajid says, nah, at Levi with the slip and slide, this game's going to be close. If the Hawks win, 49ers will hear about this for the rest of their duration. If the Hawks lose, we're cool. Oh, I love the way you put that, Sajid. Yes, sir. Ethan, Kyle Shanahan's going to be so confident that he's going to send him on a quarterback-designed run up the middle. We all know what's the result of that. That's right. A foot going sideways. That's what the result of that is. Garth Knight says, pretty sure Levis Field is grass with an acid wash gene base. That's absolutely right. And holes in the turf for no particular reason either, right, Garth? Brown spots in the turf just for the hell of it, for fashion's sake. DJ, what's new is that it went from those death threat letters to not living up to their word when it comes to betting. They'll deny it, and if you try to confront them, they'll try and kill you. I must have missed something there on that one. James Peters' last game, Purdy threw all the little dunk and dunks and missed tackles killed us. We need to get more imaginative in our blitz and stunt packages. Agreed, James. I think pressure-based stack fronts, that's a little bit better of a way to go. Force him to beat you down the field with his arm. And Mitchell, yep, Bosa does in the pass rush does make quarterbacks very uncomfortable. You guys got a great pass rush. Fritz, if Geno goes out there and stinks it up, would your opinion on it resigning him go down, or is what it is at this point? It is what it is to me at this point, Fritz. You know, I'm getting a little bit of this, for instance, I hear on the college level where people want to make sort of assessments on Jalen Carter over the last 2 years he's had, or the last 2 games he's had there at Georgia. And which I don't think has been as bad as some people are overstating. But, you know, to me, you never want to make a decision on a player based on small sample size if I have all of this other meat here to go through. Go through the meat. Don't go through the sample size. And playing on the road in the playoffs against a highly talented team like the Niners in conditions that are not going to be ideal, I'm not going to really hold that as much up against him on that. I'm really not. Especially if he finds himself under a lot of pressure. You know, especially if you guys are dropping passes because of the rain, you know, especially if the defense can't hold up against that Niner offense. So no, I probably wouldn't. I mean, he'd have to probably be a pretty miserable performance on his part to get me into that place. And even then I think I would still go, I'm going to lean back on what the totality is of this season and not simply a couple games here or a couple games here or this final game of the year. T24 Money, how can we expose Purdy's weakness? He's just a rookie, so we can get him to feel nervous or something on a big stage, a few sacks on first and second drive. I think, no, it's just about, for me, I think the key for me is you stack the box and set up to stop the run. But first and foremost, stack the box. Show pressure-based looks. The last game against the Niners, Purdy started out 11 for 11 because you were staying back, as somebody else said above, and letting him dink and dunk his way up the football field. The first time that you brought a blitz in that game was the first time that you got an incompletion from Brock Purdy. The very second play after that first incompletion, you showed another stack front. You dropped out of that one. You didn't bring the blitz, but you showed it to him. You got him thinking. You got him nervous. You got him worried. What happened then? Second straight incompletion. after starting the game 11 for 11. So the key comes back to, for me in my mind, yes, make him uncomfortable. Stack those boxes. Get up there in his face. 100%. Fortune says it's funny now. The Seahawks are rebuilding and not expecting to win. Losing is okay, but when they were dominating the 49ers, when they were injured or rebuilding, it wasn't kind of ironic, don't you think? But when they were dominating the 49ers, not really. I don't know really what you mean on that, to be honest with you. We started dominating the Niners in 2012 and 13 and right? Like, so you guys were good at that time. Injury wise, I know that you guys Niners have faced a lot of injuries over recent seasons and been one of the more injured teams in football. Guess what? We have too. So, if you want to use the injuries excuse and lean back onto that in times you played at, we can play that same game with you. My team, historically speaking, year in, year out over the last 5 years has been one of the most injured teams in football. You guys have too. So I'm not saying you guys haven't dealt with your injuries as well, but you're not in that boat alone on that one. We've been in that same place with it. There's been games you guys have gone against us where we've been beaten down and not had our full strength either. So, no. People are okay with the fact that we lose this game because, Fortune, we haven't been in a point of rebuilding in a long time. And if you're in a rebuilding state, then it is okay if you lose a game in the playoffs. Here's the thing though, Fortune, like your Niners didn't get to the playoffs when you were rebuilding. You guys were at home by this time, So like your rebuilding years and all that stuff, you didn't get to the playoffs. We did. We did pull this off. And that's why we're celebrating it. But that's also why we're also understanding of the expectation level and where we are and what it is. We're being what I think a lot of fans out there nationally want other fans to be as, which is realistic about their situation. That doesn't mean we're okay with losing. In fact, that's the point of the show, is to say that we got a chance to win this game. But this is my take on it. Garth Knight with another $5 donation. Thank you for all the donations tonight, Garth. I really do appreciate it, brother. He says, if the Niners win, will the celebration be in Frisco, Santa Clara, or San Jose? Tough call. Well, they can't get into San Francisco, unfortunately, because of the traffic at that point, Garth. So it will be in Santa Clara and San Jose, but because of the fact that they just can't get into the city. That will be the only reason why. Thank you for the donation. What the smell says, this man is an animal. Still live streaming. We're just about to wrap it on up here in just a second. What's up, Jeffrey Nicholson? Good to see you. Should be a good game, though, Dominic. I agree with you on that, man. I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm stoked. It's going to be fun. I'm glad we got you guys. This is how it should be. This is how it should be. Elena says, if it's flooded in Cali, the game should be played in Seattle. Mitchell says, Purdy is Jimmy 2.0. Take away the slants and digs. His arm is not strong enough to throw the other routes. Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment of it, Mitchell. I think that's fair. It is fair indeed. The dirty Purdy. That's right, Paul. I'm glad his rivalry is heating back up too. That's why I'm enjoying the Niners in this chat, man. I like it. Niner fans, I like it. What this division is that they're best. I know some of you are looking at the Rams as your whatever, but like I think the division's at its best when we're going head to head, and this is it. And we had one of the last truly great rivalries in the NFL. I don't know if there's been another one that's jumped to the surface since those 2012-13 seasons, right? The Harbaugh-Carroll stuff that was going on. So I welcome it. It's better for football. It's better for this division. It's funner as fans when there is a little bit of heat. A little bit of heat, a little bit of fire from both fan bases going at it. I'm with it. Yeah, Purdy can move. And I think he's got a quick release too. I think the accuracy depends on how far he's trying to throw the football. I think on the short stuff, it's accurate. If you're trying to get him pushing the ball 15 yards up the field, it's going to get a little more dicey. And GD, yeah, we need to pressure Purdy, man. We need to make him uncomfortable. Stack the box, T4. That's what I want. Stack it. You don't have to bring the blitz every time, but you stack it up and you give him that look a lot. Get him uncomfortable. Get him a wee bit uncomfortable. Niner fans are confident, Daniel. They are. They're feeling themselves. Michael Sicker, do we have anybody coming back from injury? It's been a little bit too early to tell at this point. I've not heard the update from Carol that's given me, well, we know this guy's back. We know that guy's back. It's still kind of some stuff up in the air on that, I think. We'll learn a little bit in the next couple of days here. All right. Well, I want to do a quick 3-hour show here in and out with you folks today. So sorry we're doing a quick, fast one, but we got a lot of streams coming up here over the next couple of days. So we will go ahead and put a bit of a button on this. I want to thank all of the folks out there that donated in the channel. Too many to count, almost on it. Garth, thank you for all your donations. Megan, killing it with a double $20 donation, another $10 donation. Appreciate all of you guys coming in as you always do with the unfailing absolute support to this channel at every turn. Thanks to the Niners fans too. Appreciate you guys coming in and checking out the channel and keeping the conversations mostly respectful in the chat. This is always going to bring out the rivalry in us, and we're all going to feel our teams. And the only thing I always ask of Niner fans that come in or any other fans that come in the channel, and I ask this of my own people as well, not just of the people coming in, but the people in my chat as well, is that we do keep this respectful. Let's have some talk, crap talk, shit talking towards each other. Let me tell you how Brock's going to fail, and you tell me how Gino's going to fail, and we can go back. But we always keep the gloves up. We always keep it not personal, but we're actually going at the context of the argument itself. And that's what makes the discussion that much funner when you don't have to go to the personal stuff. And it didn't seem like we were going that way with the chat tonight. That's why I was enjoying it so much, as I could see some of the frivolity and fun going back and forth between the chat and the channel on it. And it's a wonderful thing to see. This is what it's being sports fans about, right? This is what us on the West Coast and the rivalry we've had going on 10 years. This is what this is about. This is what gets me hyped up and excited as a fan. I love this. So thank you to the Niner fans who jumped on in. If you did like what you guys watched tonight, do me a favor and hit that like button if you could for me. Helps the channel out, helps me grow, helps this get it to eclipse to 11,000 subscribers, as we are now on the road to try to get done. Garth Knight's going to finish us up with another $5 donation to put a nice slamming exclamation mark on this stream. Man, Garth, you are awesome for doing so. I really do appreciate it. He says, Brando, can I tell these Niner fans I'm actually a Broncos fan and we beat them this season? Technically you can, because you have called yourself that prior to the comment, right? So you've already laid down this groundwork. You've already put that out in the universe. So it's not like you cherry picking at that point. That's simply you just telling them the commonplace of it. So yeah, you can say, hey, my guy got you again. My team got you again already this year. That's absolutely the way you can say that, Brock. No doubt about it, man. Roxanne Roll with another donation. Thank you for the double donation tonight, Roxanne. You are amazing as you ever are. She says, Brandon, great stream, informative and fun. 12s, keep the faith, embrace your house money. Anything else is gravy. Whatever your it's all good is, never waver in your heart, and go Hawks. Kick ass, B. Hey, I'm going to stay over here, keep trying to kick my ass. Whether I hit or not, I'm kicking it. All right. So, I'm going with it, Roxanne. And thank you for the kind words there in the donation. Thank you for all the donations and all of your support to the channel as one of my patrons, member of the channel. All of that. I really appreciate all of that support you provide here to the channel, along with everyone else with that. And like she says, embrace the house money, embrace the gravy, right? This season has been a bonus. They told us at the start, United fans have to understand, they told us at the start we wasn't going to be shit. They said to us, oh, that Seahawk team, they're going to be with the Texans competing for that number 1 overall pick in the draft. That's what they were telling us, man. They said it nationally. We're hearing some of it locally. We're hearing it all over the place. Everywhere we looked, every pundit, every national talking head, you ain't going to be jack squat, they said. Whoa. Whoa. We're in the playoffs. How does a team with the worst roster in all of football then end up in the playoffs? It almost seems like maybe, perhaps, just maybe, we weren't that bad. And if they can be that wrong about that, if they can be that off about that, why can't they be off about all these predictions for this upcoming game this Saturday? Why can't all of this confidence I hear from all of these people about what the Niners are going to do to us, about what woodshed they're going to take us out to? Why can't that be wrong as well? Because it's all operating from the same place, which is overlooking this Seahawk team, which is burying this Seahawk team before we're dead, which is not taking the Seahawk team seriously. So you go do that, national audience. You go do that, San Francisco fans. Yeah, well, you got this game. No, you got it. Don't even worry about it. Don't even fear it. It's all good. In fact, just write down the W right now. Write down the W right now. Let's see how it goes, though. I like my chances in a monsoon. I like my chances with this team that nobody counted on doing nothing. I like this team that's got house money. Because from here, the end of this offseason right now, it's all gravy, baby. My name is Brandon Kane. This is the Hawks Nest. I got some Seahawk fans out there that wonder, but most of you are on board with me. Most of you are up on top of this with me, and we are driving in the direction of this victory, and we're saying, we got this. We can get this. We can go now. Let's go now. But if there's a few of you out there that still are unsure, a few of you out there wavering, don't you ever forget. You keep that faith. You realize you got that house money. Take your stack, push it to the center of the table, and let's see what happens. Let's see if our Seattle Seahawks can indeed shock the world and break the hearts of all of those 49er fans in such a wonderful, beautiful fashion. I will be on Less Second Sports tomorrow at 6 o'clock p.m. And then I will be back over on Seahawks Brendan Nelson's channel at 8 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time on both of those. So please check out both of those sides on that. But beyond all that, don't you ever forget, even as these national folks are telling you not to have any hope, not to have any faith, not to dream big. I tell you, dream big, dream large. Let those Lombardi trophies dance in your eyes like a children's dream of presents just before Christmas. Let it dance in your eyes. Dare to dream big, my Seahawks fans, and don't you ever forget. Go Hawks!